rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, there's of course some people we have to give the love, the appreciation to, as well as, of course, give some extra special reminders to everybody here about some special things happening here on the MCF side of things before we jump into all the news. But first and foremost, thank you very much to the back-to-back sponsor of the week and Cash App King, Snug X.
Woo.
You know why he's here. Thank you so much, Snug. Appreciate you. And by the way, if you look up above, Jason Renfro took over as the stream boss, fully loaded with 100 points.
Yes.
You can't have a king without a queen. Shout out to Mary Alvarez, the membership queen.
Yeah, the membership gifting. See, that's the key there.
Yes.
She's the
membership
gifting queen. That's giving love to the channel, but giving love to the families in the chat. And everybody, a lot of people have been doing that, especially this week, baby. This week, we got a battle going up on that board with currently Jason Renfro leading that side of things. He is leading, and not just has the stream boss right there, but he also is leading a big battle, kind of like a Cowboys, Niners, Eagles battle. Well, we got 3 Cowboys fighting for that top spot. Jason Renfro with 12 gifted memberships. Skeptical Fan with 10. Mary Alvarez with 9. Don't forget that lunatic. We'll talk more about him. He has 5 on it. 5 was the winning number last week for the queen, Mary Alvarez. Appreciate Mary right now. She is the queen of the gifting membership side of things. And then, of course, in the Cash App, SnugX been running that board back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. But we also have still a leader. The last week and a half, it's the same guy. It's Mr. Stanley Smith, and he's running the thing here, trying to get back that crown after a couple weeks in SnugX's possession. We'll see how that turns out. It's getting closer for sure. A lot of people are getting closer and closer. People like Jason Renfro, Gloria, SnugX, they're on his tail, so he's got to be careful. Also, we also have, of course, to shout out the overall leader, and it is still Jason Renfro.
Ooh.
Trying to take it 3 out of the 4 spots right now, other than Cash App. Jason Renfro's got the lead on these, so we'll see what happens as this continues, and as the week comes to a close, as we hopefully bring the Eagles to a close, if you know what I mean, on Sunday night. We have to also, of course, remind you guys, not just cash, not just the super chats or the thanks button or jumping in memberships, which, by the way, I got to shout out Lincoln Kane, the star level membership. I got to shout out Bootzilla in that navy blue crew. Much love to both of you. Their memberships hit, so they're on that board. And, that's where you can jump in the memberships. You can also gift memberships, as we've said. But there's also 4 other ways in the Cash App side where you can challenge guys like SnugX, Stanley Smith, Jason Ruff, and others on the Cash App side. How are those 4 ways they can do this?
Of course, you have the Cash App, #MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Like we said, there's multiple different levels here, navy, blue, silver, when it comes to membership. You get the top shelf stuff, like the star and over everything level membership. They get the nightly shout outs here because they're running the show here with their love here on the monthly, yearly, sometimes multi-months, multi-years. They're fantastic family members. And baby, without further ado, who are those fantastic star level and over everything members?
Thank you to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, Dwayne Broussard, and the Lunatic.
Ooh, the Lunatic. That sounds familiar. There's something coming up with the Lunatic, and it's this 4-prize raffle. Mr. The Lunatic, I'm sure you see him in the chat. He's always in every Cowboy content creator chat. He is the man. Much love to the Lunatic, spreading that love across the channel here to the family, to you guys. 4 winners, and there's going to be 4 prizes that you can win here, guys. How do you get in this raffle?
Of course, if you drop $10 or more, bam, you're automatically entered. And guys, these, entries do stack because every $10 is another entry.
Unlimited entries, guys, for this. So you can up your chances to win. But there's another way of upping it. If you're in the membership and you hit the $10 mark,
you get a bonus entry.
Yeah, any level membership, right? So there's that. There's the 4 prizes, baby.
Of course, in 4th place, you have the Cowboys car package there. Repping your Cowboy car in style.
Decals, flags, lanyards, license plate covers, a lot of things for your vehicle to rep that star over everything.
In 3rd place, the customizable Cowboy shirt, any name, any number, and of course, that embroidered Micah Parsons signature cap.
Number 11, you know it, one of a kind. And then we'll get to that in a minute because we'll go to 1st and 2nd place with that J. Lou 2, the man that we're just talking about, the Lunatic. Much love to him. He dropped that $2 holler. What did he say?
Ooh, he said extend Dak. And here we go.
Here we go.
Dallas 30, Philly 21.
A little 9-point win there for the Cowboys. Much love to the Lunatic, who, by the way, as he takes Jason Ruff for 98 points, 1st and 2nd place for this raffle per the Lunatic. Making this happen, the Cowboy Mosh, sewn and stitched, authentic like jerseys, old school, new school, Hall of Famers, 2nd-year guys or older here currently in our team. All the different styles, the icy white, color rush. You got the throwbacks. You got the home white, the navy blues. You got the 80s, the 70s styles. A lot of different styles to choose from. If we got it, you can get it. We got that player, you can have it. Again, 1st place gets a jersey. 2nd place gets a jersey. All brought to you by the man, the Lunatic. All 4 of these prizes or package prizes. You can say 1, 2 of the first 1, 3, and then the 4. Oh, wait, there's the 4th. Yeah, the car package. Much love to the Lunatic for making this happen. But wait, there's more. Marco Seppian dropping that 1, 2 J. Lou dollar holler. Much love to the man Marco Seppian, only from Hawaii, repping that star for everything. What did the man say?
He said, Philly is so beatable.
Oh, yeah.
A good team with a poor pass defense.
It's funny, Mark. I hope you're around tonight for what I got for you tonight. Because, we got some matchups, but some of these matchups are going to be, kind of obvious in our favor. It's not even because again you got matchups that the Eagles got to try to do this against our defense. We got a good defense, and they got a good offense. So we got to run against them, but they got a good run defense. So you see some things there that it's going to be a close battle. But then there's a couple of things the Cowboys I'm going to show you today. Major fucking advantages, and Dak is one of those advantages right now. But I'm saying these advantages is why we should be able to defeat this team by 9 points, by maybe double digits, if we're on fire in a real way. If we're just doing well, we're gonna have ups and downs. But if we're on fire, we can win. But we can beat the Eagles by, I don't know about the way the Niners did, but I know we can handle them. I know it.
We should beat the Eagles.
Plain and simple.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Paraphrase it to that one sentence.
Yeah, if the Cowboys want to do that by 3 or 13 points, I'll let them decide.
Much love to Mark. Much love to the Lunatic, especially for this raffle, this 4-prize raffle. And again, Sunday night football, Cowboys-Eagles, halftime. We're going to have these 4 winners announced, raffled live right here at My Cowboys Family at halftime. So stay tuned for that. Big shout out to the Lunatic. Much love to Marco Zeppian, who, by the way, sponsor of the week. He's the overall record holder 15 weeks in a row. I always got to say that when I see Mark. Appreciate you for that. I mean, that's a legendary record that's not really been close to being beaten there. So much love to him. Jason Renfro has the all-time record on the Cash App, 20 weeks, which SnugX almost got. It was getting close. It's tough. These are some all-time records for a reason. Now, got the raffle info, got the shout-outs. Everybody in the house, appreciate you guys. And that's why it's time for the Who's in the house right now in the chat. Shout-outs.
Thank you to GM in the house. Lost in translation, much love. Asmodeus representing. We have Skeptical Fan always staying skeptical.
Stay skeptical.
Of course, a big mahalo to Marco Seppian. James Herr, hello and hi. The Lunatic, much love. SnugX, sponsor of the week, Cash App King. You know why he's here. Juan Carlos, Dallas Cowboys for life always. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself, you already know. Rolando Rodriguez, all the way from South Texas, much love. Jason Renfro representing, dropping those emojis, guys. Drop them if you got them. Little Dallas Cowboy, what's up? We got Big D in the house, bringing it. Double R, salute to you, much love. Freedom first, good for you. Looks like you were first again today. Mike Aldana representing, much love. Aztec Aguilar 04 in the house. Orion Files, thanks for coming through, saying hello and hi. But baby, as more people, come in, I'll make sure to give them their proper shout-outs and proper due. Hit like, sub it up, hit the bell. But guys,
let's kick
it's
it
time
off.
to hear from Mr. MCF.
Yeah, let's kick it off with a quick little, happy Hanukkah to all of our friends that celebrated. Tonight's the first night of Hanukkah, so you light your first candle. And don't forget, at the end of whatever you say and do, say Go Cowboys.
Always.
So, anyways, want to say happy Hanukkah.
What's up, Tom Cook, representing all the way from UK and Australia.
Ooh. And by the way, baby, I do have the little last shout out here in the Cash App side. Do you know why? Because you got a Cash App representative here. The Current. He's been, we were out of town for a little bit. Stanley, he's been a little quiet lately, but guess what? He's back. Woo. Stanley Smith dropping that Aikman $8 holler. Much love to Stanley.
I appreciate you, of course.
You know what he said?
That Aikman 8.
Go Cowboys.
You know it.
Much love, Stanley Smith, as he continues to lead. Currently is the leader in the Cash App side. And I'm going to tell you right now, he does have, I think he's 2 away, if I'm not mistaken, from another raffle entry for old Stanley Smith here. So appreciate you, bro.
So, and
go
thank
Cowboys.
you, Lunatic. Hopefully your work evening passes by quickly.
Yes.
So Thomas Garrett, the Superior Garrett in the house. Retro Scotty, what's up? So, and yes, guys, obviously, we're going to be touching on all the information, the news, the updates. 8 crazy nights. Yes. Make sure to get all your favorite Hanukkah songs on the playlist, not just the Christmas songs, right?
Yeah. The Cowboys actually did actually post that picture yourself on their website. That's good to see. The diversity thing, right? Always good. Let's talk about something that's kind of offensive in a way here, and that's what the Buffalo Bills head coach, Sean McDermott, had to address today. He apologized for the way he addressed his team back in 2021. I'm pretty sure it was back in 2021, which I think Ty Dunn reported this issue that McDermott had basically compared a team effort in the organization of the attack on 9/11 on the World Trade Center in New York and, of course, in D.C. Now, go ahead, baby. I mean, you can break it down real quick. What was the report kind of filled with there?
Yeah, so basically he basically compared the team coming together to the way that the terrorists were able to come together and unify on a plan. He started asking players around the room questions like, what tactics do you think they used to come together? And what do you think their biggest obstacle was? Somebody apparently answered TSA to kind of
that's probably
try to play it off a little bit, but obviously it's not exactly ha ha.
Yeah,
funny.
no, it's not funny, but it was very tense, I think, for the players. After that kind of question, that kind of like, hey, let's
I'm
rah
sorry,
come
that's
together.
awkward as hell. Imagine if
Yeah.
your boss literally said, all right, guys, we're going to do a team building exercise like the 9/11 terrorists. What? Anyway, sorry.
Insane.
Just a little crazy. A little weird that all this is kind of coming out now, or that he's kind of being forced to apologize for it now. But
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously beyond uncalled for and unacceptable. And again, the players complained obviously about it, as they should. Anybody should after hearing that compare. I don't think he did it maliciously. I just think he just didn't get the feel of the room. I don't know what to say. By the way, another thing that came up. We talked about yesterday, maybe Hayden Hurst. Remember what I said about the tight end Hayden Hurst?
Yeah, didn't he have some kind of a head injury, concussion, or something?
Yeah, that caused some kind of amnesia. He didn't remember anything after the concussion he got for like hours and hours. So he said today, quote, "I appreciate everyone reaching out and checking on me. I suffered a pretty nasty concussion against the Bears a few weeks ago, and I don't remember up to 4 hours after the game. Scary situation, but the Panthers have been incredible walking me through this process. While it was very scary, it is not career-ending. I'm starting my return to play this week, so fingers crossed that I make it back for the last few weeks of the season." So we obviously, that's great news to hear Hayden Hurst doing that. Hopefully that, I hope that there's no concussions that cause this to get worse or make it worse. It seems to me a big risk, but I guess he talked to doctors and knows the situation. But he is, again, not career-ending. He's going back and, going back to play soon. We'll see when. I hope the best for him, for sure. One of Dak's good buddies.
I was going to say, definitely a scary situation.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that it isn't necessarily career-ending, and that hopefully it is just kind of a temporary side effect of the concussion. But as we know, it's not like every concussion, they stack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not getting better.
It's like double or nothing. So.
Yeah, so he's got to be very, very careful. And, the best of luck to Hayden Hurst on this situation. Now, also, we talked about yesterday, Mason Crosby, he's signing with the Rams.
Yeah.
A guy we've been following. What about Robbie Gould? A guy we follow in the offseason as well. We got Brandon Aubrey, so we're good. But longtime NFL kicker Robbie Gould today announced he's retiring from the NFL. Obviously, there was a reason for him not really getting picked up by many teams and being released by the Niners.
Obviously,
and
time
teams.
to hang up the cleats, right?
Yeah. One last note before we get to the Cowboy-centric stuff here. You know that Eagle linebacker, I talked about him a little bit, Christian Ellis, or Elias Ellis. He was released by the Eagles. And then when they picked up, Darius Leonard.
Yeah.
So they released this. So this linebacker, again, Christian Ellis was the starter for the Eagles in the game.
Trying to imply we should get their sloppy seconds?
No. I'm saying he was the starter for the Eagles this last week against the Niners.
Okay.
When he went through waivers, 6 teams put in a claim on him.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. The Patriots, the Cardinals, the Tennessee Titans, the Falcons, the Broncos, and the Dolphins. Remember, he played in all 12 games for Philly and started this past Sunday against the Niners. Of course, the Patriots had the highest waiver claim in the order. The Patriots now have him. They play tonight, by the way, the New England Patriots. But I just wanted to say that Christian Ellis, he's on the Patriots immediately. He was obviously sought after. You know what I'm saying? After being cut by the Eagles. Did the Eagles make a mistake? I don't know. But speaking of the Patriots, with Zeke tonight, on Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime, Billy Zapp for the New England Patriots threw 3 first half.
Billy or Bailey?
I'm sorry, Bailey. Bailey Zapp, who again he was like repicked up and cut and put on the practice squad. He threw 3 first half touchdown passes. One of them was a fucking incredible pass. We've seen. I think he threw it to Hunter Henry. What a play that! What was a crazy catch? A crazy pass, a great catch, but a great play there by Zapp or Zappy. I don't know. And then and again, the Patriots snapped a 5-game losing streak. And again, truly damaged the hopes of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which puts a smile on my face. The Patriots won 21-18 tonight on Thursday night. Bailey Zapp passed for 240 yards. This is his second start for the Patriots, who are now 3-10, and became the second 2-win team in 5 days to beat the Steelers. Now they're at 7-6, dropping bad. Again, this is maybe a season-altering loss for the Steelers at home. Like I said, Hunter Henry had a great catch for that touchdown. Another catch earlier. Another great catch, actually. Zeke had 140 yards, by the way, from scrimmage, catching and running, 72 receiving, 68 rushing, caught a touchdown for the NFL's lowest scoring offense, which is the Patriots. And when he reached the end zone, he reached the end zone 3 times, I think, here for the first time since October. So Juju Smith-Schuster also added 90 yards receiving against the team he started for earlier in his career. So just the Patriots outlasted the Steelers, and basically both teams are going to be sitting on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs. Now, I just want to go through the NFL news. There's a couple interesting little tidbits of things here, baby, that I think you'll find interesting when it comes to an accelerator program.
All right.
All right. In efforts to strengthen the pipeline of diverse candidates, I think it's that DEI kind of rule, or not rule, but I know the NFL is pushing it. DEI's diversity candidates. So they're trying to strengthen the pipeline of these guys getting into better chances to get higher coaching, position coaching stuff, coordinator places, and head coach spots. NFL hosted their front office and general manager accelerator program from December 11th, 12th, and 13th when they're going to do this. And they announced this at the league meeting in Dallas, Texas. I just want to say something. This is why you got guys in there like Joe Witt Jr. This is why you got guys like Al Harris. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, guys, this is the reason why these things work. Without this program, you might not hear their names too often. And yes, diversity is part of the game here. You got to push. You got to get the faces, got to be seen over and over.
Pretty much all of this is literally just one giant way to allow people to network and show their skills in a way that they maybe would not have had the chance, right? Because as you know, pretty much every NFL job is all about nepotism. Obviously you still have to have the skills to back it up, but 9 out of 10 times you just kind of have to know someone, and someone has to know you, and then you just have to go and interview well. Mm-hmm. So getting a lot of these people who obviously have the required skill set in front of the people who can get to know them and get to make these decisions and start getting them involved in teams. Again, like 3 years ago, if I would have said Joe Witt Jr., would you have known who that was?
No.
Right? I mean, probably not. Nowadays, I say Joe Witt Jr., NFL ears perk up, right?
And they want him as a defensive coordinator.
It's really nice to see how that actually progresses and how we're seeing that more fair balance of actually talented individuals getting their chance
that maybe would have been overlooked because they're not in that nepotism kind of, hey, I know you from years and years of coaching, right? So I think now you're seeing, bigger name than that is Al Harris, who was not on any radar at all. At least Joe Witt Jr. was there with Dan Quinn through his time in Atlanta and other time. So now
he still even had more in it.
Yeah, I mean, he had McCarthy to help him a little bit because he played under him. But the point is, it was more about the fact that his coaching would have been overlooked by most. And now he's very sought after as a possible defensive coordinator here sooner than later in his NFL coaching career. So
we love to see it.
This year's front office and GM accelerator candidate from the Cowboys is Brett Maxey II. Okay. He's a scout with the Cowboys and the son of longtime NFL and college secondary coach Brett Maxey, who also had a short stint with the Cowboys as a player. The younger Maxey is a rising star in the scouting fields and in the kind of coaching field. So you might see his name coming up more.
And again,
Brett Maxey II.
I just think it's so funny because even this Brett Maxey II is a guy who is in because his dad knew someone who knew someone who, you know what I'm trying to say? So those types of connections and networking and things that you build, you never know when that'll end up coming to pay dividends. And he's obviously proven himself if they're nominating him and putting him forward.
It's awesome
as
to see.
Up and coming guy.
Great to see. By the way, you know what else is great to see? Stanley Smith dropping. He started with an $8 Aikman holler. Now he said, I'm going to go 12 on it and represent Captain America and Roger the Dodger, Roger Staubach. Ooh. With that, he adds another 2 raffle entries. And he's moving. I'm going to have to switch the board up because he's overall now moving up. I think he's 3rd, 4th, somewhere in that spot right now. He's definitely getting up there, and it's a bunch of people in the next 20 or 30 points up there. So there's like 4 people in the mix. So Stanley Smith in first place in the Cash App and currently making a move for the overall spot right now, moving up the board. So much love to Stanley. He said, "Yo, Cowboy."
Always go Cowboys.
You know it. So anyways, I thought that was very interesting when it comes to the, these coaches and they're kind of getting kind of pipelined into the, front office and managerial and coaches kind of minds. So we'll see how that goes for Brett Maxey II. Now, awards quickly, real quick. I talked about it yesterday. The Pro Bowl I talked about the 17 players that are in the top 10 in their position right now for the Cowboys. There's 6 Cowboys that lead their respective position in the entire NFL and so far in Pro Bowl voting. So I didn't really mention those names. Let me make sure I said this, baby. The Cowboys own leading votes for quarterback, Dak Prescott, wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, guard, Zach Martin, outside linebacker, Micah Parsons, cornerback, DeRon Bland, and kicker, Brandon Aubrey.
Woo.
So, yeah, guys, these are the guys that are definitely well on their way to making this Pro Bowl in Orlando, Florida. An hour away from our Cowboys. But, I don't want to see any of these guys here. An hour away from where we're at. We don't want to see these guys.
Yeah,
we want to see them in the Super Bowl. I don't mind if they could all win it, but I don't want replacements.
Very useless Pro Bowl for our Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. I let them get the accolades. I don't want to see them there. You know why? Because that means they're in the Super Bowl practicing and getting ready for the bowl that really matters. So, hey, listen, if we don't make it, I guess we see a bunch of our Cowboys. That's great. It's bittersweet. You know how that goes. So
yeah,
fuck all that.
that's not quite the consolation prize I'm looking for.
Very, very much not. So, again, we're going to talk here a little bit on, as we get into the Cowboys, what is the update? What is the status of our play caller, which is even more important than the head coach part in my mind, our play caller, Mike McCarthy. Now, remember, guys, yesterday, acute appendicitis. He is officially now back home. It was a successful surgery. We knew this yesterday. Okay. He's officially back home after having the surgery yesterday. The reports are he's doing very well. And guess what? He's expected to be back at the start tomorrow.
Good.
And expected to coach Sunday night against the Eagles. Big time, big great stuff there, but the big bubble here, Mike McCarthy. Again, he is actually, if you keep looking at this as we got more information throughout the day, McCarthy was involved remotely in a game plan meeting, which was held this evening with Dak Prescott and offensive coordinator, Ryan Schottenheimer. So Mike McCarthy's working.
Doctor, I'm probably
I love it though. I love
yelling at him from here,
guys. Listen, we've all had problems with McCarthy. Even if you love McCarthy, everyone's had a problem with McCarthy. But McCarthy's doing a fucking bang-up job for this team, putting them together, making sure that there's a plan and a plan B and a plan C. Remember with Garrett, we didn't have no plan A with the motherfucker. Yeah. McCarthy is just a better coach. You might not like him. He might not be the best guy we can get. He's a much better coach than Jason Garrett, as I've been screaming for fucking years. He has some downfalls. He has some bumbling moments. But again, he seems to be feeling the wave now, riding that. He understands things better, and I think he's really coming around. For the Cowboys, at least, you always got to give a coach a couple of years. A veteran like him is kind of changing his own schemes and systems. He finally found the pulse of the team, I think, and really is on track. And it's great to have this you're not really losing any step at all with McCarthy being out for a couple days. That's incredible. It's great. So Dak, Dak also said he spoke with McCarthy yesterday, but also spoke. He spoke yesterday. He spoke with McCarthy before practice today, and again confirmed that they're going to have a virtual meeting to go over the finer details of the actual game plan against the Eagles. They did that tonight. So again, Dak was very pleased. This is what Dak kind of said in passing. He was pleased with the work on the field on Thursday in practice. In the coach, again, in place of where there was no head coach technically, right? For basically 4 days before we played Philly. So everything was very smooth. Dak mentioned everything was very like on target. McCarthy was around on, Zoom, virtual stuff. This is greatness here in the sense of trying not to skip a beat when something like this happens to your head coach and your play caller. See, McCarthy needs to be if he's got to be at home in his bed, he better still be calling the plays. He can be calling it in through the headset, but he needs to be rolled up in there in the freaking box or whatever, like you said earlier. But he's going to be on that field doing it. At least he's going to be in the game, play calling this game and head coaching this game. So got to give a lot of credit to Mike McCarthy. Any thoughts on that, baby? On Mr. McCarthy or the chat, by the way?
What more can you say? He's obviously, doing everything he can despite his current health condition situation to push himself and still coach this team, still lead this team, still do his part in contributing. So let's be real, though. I'm going to assume that this obviously affects us in a negative way, right? You can't pretend like missing your head coach and having some kind of urgent medical situation, but that's part of football too, right? Like, players get sick, right? Players get the flu in the middle of the week and miss practice or miss time or miss preparation or whatever it is. So at the end of the day, this is just another challenge that we have to overcome. And I'm just glad it happened in the earlier side of the week, so it does give McCarthy time still to, adjust, implement, do whatever he needs to, and it allows the other people around McCarthy to also kind of prepare for that obvious slight lack of McCarthy involvement, whatever that means, right? Whether that means McCarthy's in the booth, whether that just means that, again, because McCarthy missed some preparation sessions, someone else had to kind of do some of the things McCarthy might normally do and have that double checked. So we don't really know as much of like that behind the scenes process, but it still sounds like McCarthy's going to be the one running things.
Again, it just sounds like McCarthy's going to be head coach, coaching this thing, and definitely play calling the offense, which is the most important thing here. I do think that it affects every team if something like this happens. I agree, but this is I'm trying to say this the right way, but it just seems like this is the least amount of damage you can do.
I agree. We kind
this
of
is a
kept
fantastic
everything
thing.
business as
Yeah,
usual,
that's
and
what
that's
I'm
why
saying.
I said
Yeah.
it's a big deal that we have guys like Schottenheimer and others. I'm just using him as the main example,
Well, that's a
because
good
obviously
example.
he's the
He's
guy
next.
probably taking over the biggest chunk of the things that McCarthy normally does
The
when
offense.
it comes to the offensive
Yes.
side of things.
And that's who's next, baby. It's
Who?
Brian Schreiber. Do you remember yesterday Dan Quinn spoke, and in classic McCarthy team kind of come together. He had planned for Quinn tomorrow and today Schottenheimer to speak. Tomorrow will be McCarthy again. He sounds like he's back at the Star. What did Schottenheimer say? Again, he came up there now, his first head coaching kind of, addressing the media. He's addressed the media, but not as I don't say head coach.
Yeah.
He's addressing as the OC, but he's never addressed that in lieu of the head coach. So Schottenheimer, guys, talked about the whole situation, the acute appendicitis that McCarthy had. And he was talking about when he was 14, living in Cleveland, when he had his appendix removed. He said he won't forget it. And he told he told the story.
His own football-related appendix removal story, because he said his appendix was removed the day after the 1987 AFC Championship game. He said the fumble. My dad and the Browns lost a tough game out there in Denver. I watched it at home in Cleveland, and they flew back. I kept complaining about my stomach. They got home at 3 in the morning, and the next day they're like, "Oh no, you're fine, you're fine." But then they took me, and I had to have mine removed. So the Schottenheimers lost both on Sunday and the next day when I had to have my appendix removed.
I mean, I remember that game, the fumble. Man, it was, number 44 from the Browns. Who was it? Gainer? I don't know. The point is, man, he had a touchdown.
The Schottenheimers were taking L's.
They were,
all sorts
Marty
of ways.
Schottenheimer, Brian Schottenheimer. I'm saying Marty Schottenheimer trying to get, he was the Browns coach then. Man, I just never forget. Baby, you don't understand. He was going into the end zone to go into the Super Bowl, and he fumbled it on the 1-yard line, and the Broncos recovered it, won the game, and that was it. It's so painful. This is to go to the Super Bowl. So he was, again, 14 years old when this happened, and he saw his dad, Marty Schottenheimer, go through that. It probably took a year off his life just on that. I know it would. It would for me if I was a coach in that situation. Either way, that was his appendix story. What else was kind of said there by Schottenheimer when he went there to the podium today speaking about
he did
this
want to
and the
clarify
team?
that he personally spoke with McCarthy the night before the surgery, and then today, as in this Thursday, he spoke with him several times throughout the day, saying he's obviously very involved. McCarthy's giving lots of suggestions, and that's when I know that he's feeling good. So honestly, it sounds like he's doing all right. And, from everything that's also coming out about McCarthy's surgery, it sounds like it was a laparoscopic surgery, which is also good news because that means
recovery.
a much faster, quicker recovery, and not as much anesthesia either, which means that, McCarthy,
That's fantastic.
He's probably feeling a lot better now.
Yeah, the appendix
even
story.
If he's a bit sore.
The appendix story, people in the chat reminded me, yes, again, I got to shout out Bobby, Pioneer. That was Ernest Biner from the Browns. I think it was number 44, right? I think so. But either way, man, what I'll never forget that. Or the year before that, when it was the drive. And Elway went down the field and did his thing. James Hurd in the house, dropping that $1, $2, $3 holler. I think it's through the Streamlabs, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. Thank you, James.
What did James have to
you.
say?
You know what he had to say?
Hit me with it.
Don't get too high on Mike. He almost blew the game versus the Hawks with his dumb pass play over running the ball on that third down to eat the clock. If Dallas would have lost, they would have called for Mike's head.
That is a great point, James Hurd. I mean, I do agree. That I remember that sticking in the back of my mind, and it reminded me of the Giants and Cowboys back to open the season back in 2016, 15. I just remember when the Giants threw the ball on third down and gave the Cowboys a chance to get down the field, and we did, and we won. Witten with the winner there from Romo. So that crossed my mind, and I said that was not a good play call when you could have run that clock down 40 seconds afterwards. They had their timeouts gone. So I agree. I'm not too high on Mike. I like the way he at least has plan B in place. Because Garrett is still worse. I think James Hurd can agree with me on that. Garrett is even worse. But yeah, McCarthy is not some legend yet as far as in Dallas, number one, and a legend as far as managing shit and control. Because that was a big mistake. It could have hurt us. 1,000% right to James Hurd. I'm going to add him to the board immediately with that drop of freaking knowledge, which was fantastic. So, yeah. I almost forgot that in the whole heat of the battle there. But yeah, that bothered me a lot, and I talked about it in the middle of the game. I said the same exact thing James said.
And thank you again, James, very much love. Asmodeus, all good. I'll let Mr. MCF explain, because honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't remember. He wanted to know about what's Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not really like religious like that. So, but one's a new year. You know, one's like the New Year. You have the Chinese New Year and the regular New Year and all that stuff. So it's kind of like I think Rosh Hashanah is the New Year. Yom Kippur is Atonement Day or something like that. Listen, I'm just not too religious, guys. Pardon me for that. But it just, whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, atheist, agnostic, I don't care. It's all love here because we all want that 6 and beyond, baby. We rep that star, this star over everything. After dark, we could talk about all the other topics, right? Love you, man. I appreciate you, Asmodeus, and go Cowboys.
So, and yeah, obviously that would have gone very, very differently for us. Thankfully, luck was on our side, and I've said it. You do need a little bit of luck to make it past some of these trials and tribulations here in the NFL, right? Like, that's one of the things we said about the Eagles team, right? Oh, maybe they're not as good as people think. They just kind of keep falling on the lucky side of things. Now is their luck starting to run out, maybe?
When they get better teams, and even when they got lucky against good teams, the luck eventually does run out.
I do mean just straight up luck in the sense of like, yeah, obviously some of those things are like maybe good play or whatever, but sometimes it was just, hey, we caused a fumble and they still got lucky and recovered it. Like, not because they were such good players, but because their players just
were in the right spot, right time.
Exactly.
And that's what happened in the Eagle game last time. Remember, we had the couple fumbles and we just a second late, a hair too late, and they kept recovering them. By the way, James Hurd, by the way, knocks Jason Renford with 93 points in the Stream Boss, and also James Hurd, 7 away officially, 7 away from being in this raffle from the Lunatic. 4 prizes, $10 per entry. Good luck to everybody in that, by the way. Much love and thanks to the Lunatic for making it happen. So I'm sorry I had to cut you off a little bit.
That's okay.
I wanted to shout out Ernest Briner and that fumble play. Thank you guys for reminding me about the actual name. But I think you talked about the fact that he was feeling good.
Yeah,
right?
and he kind of said that, when McCarthy's feeling good, and how it usually goes with him, quote, he's going to talk about 2 things, football and Pittsburgh. McCarthy sounds like a fascinating man.
Well, his hometown, Pittsburgh.
And football.
And his job right now is winning a Super Bowl. Hell yeah,
honestly,
football.
He sounds like a slightly more animated version of Belichick. But I guess we'll talk about that another time. Anyway, Schottenheimer added in there that the team is, quote, full steam ahead. That McCarthy is still watching like practice film and things like that from his recovery station. He's going to be participating in virtual meetings pretty much throughout all of Thursday. He does plan on, like you said, physically returning to the facility on Friday. I expect he's probably going to
be in the background
still
a little bit.
Somewhat limited in certain things, but I mean, if he's good enough to walk around and move a little bit, he'll be get himself into the building, into his office.
I think the last part of this quote is the most important thing. McCarthy is going to call plays Sunday versus the Eagles. That's what Schottenheimer said. Calling plays is not necessarily head coaching on the field. So, baby, I think you got this right. You got this right.
It sounds like there's going to definitely be some kind of delegation. And again, that's a great thing about having someone like, let's say, Dan Quinn as your defensive coordinator.
A former head coach.
If you want someone to help take over some of those duties, Dan Quinn is there to help out. Also, you just mentioned like a crap ton of guys that are over here ready to take on some more responsibility, right? Maybe dip their toes in some, defensive coordinator type of responsibility. You get what I mean? So like, we basically just kind of do a little bit of the responsibility shuffle. That way McCarthy can only focus on calling the offense. Everyone else can focus on all those other things. And of course, our Cowboys can just focus on getting the dub.
We also had the situation happen some years back, remember? And Dan Quinn was gone. Joe Witt Jr. took over the play calling duties on defense. We had, of course, against the Vikings last year, whatever it was, COVID take out Mike McCarthy. And we had Dan Quinn be the head coach on the field. And we won these games. We did very well in these games. And it has to have gotten better since then. If we were good then handling this stuff, it's got to have gotten better. They know the team better. The plans are more, gone through already, So we've already had some test runs and trial runs in preseason a couple years ago, last year against Minnesota, and we passed with flying colors, or 2 years ago with Minnesota. My point is, this team should be ready for these kind of switches and changes, especially the Dan Quinn side, and Joe Witt Jr. side, Aiden Darty side. All these guys should be Aiden Darty. And the offensive side, I don't know about Schottenheimer, but it sounds like Schottenheimer's going to do his same thing while McCarthy really focuses on play calling. Whether it's from the booth or down below, McCarthy's going to be calling this game. That's the key word. The head coaching, it's all right. Dan Quinn can do that. But play calling the plays, that has to be done by McCarthy.
And not just that, but that's McCarthy's baby, clearly.
Yes.
And, when it comes to this Eagle game, it sounds like that McCarthy personally feels like is where he can make the biggest difference.
Yeah, agree.
So now, Schottenheimer, he had one final last little thing to say here.
Here we go.
Our cadence has become a weapon. I've heard there's a song out there about it.
What? We did it on our After Dark. I actually played it. Well, if we do we might do the After Dark party session after a stream on Saturday. We'll see. But either way, we'll be definitely playing that song. Hate it or love it, it reps the star, and most people loving it. There's a big story behind this, right? Because this is a song that was put out. I don't know the whole story, but I know it was put out by these two guys, and it's Dak's. Here we go is in the song constantly. He's part of the chorus. So how did this whole thing, as Schottenheimer's talked about, he said there's a song about it.
Yeah.
What's the breakdown of this whole situation? You hit me with this. I don't know about how this whole came to be.
So it's actually kind of cool because first of all, they were playing the song before the game, like outside the stadium. And we've already mentioned it. Obviously, the song's called Here We Go by Preston Wayne and Blackbeard featuring Dak Prescott. It is kind of cool because Dak actually gave his blessing for the song. So both of these artists are obviously hardcore, diehard Cowboy fans, and they wanted a new Cowboy anthem because, quote, I personally was tired of playing We Done Boys because Wiz Khalifa's not even from Dallas. I wanted something that was going to be original, that the fans would love, that could carry over to the radio in the same light of how We Done Boys was. When I heard Here We Go and how the cadence came out, I immediately messaged Dak. And then Dak responded back with, oh, this is fire. So basically they're like, all right, great. We have Dak's blessing. Dak likes it. He's into it. But they also said that, it kind of grew very quickly from there, saying we wanted to make sure he was okay and the team was good. The biggest thing is we understand the Cowboy culture. We didn't want to step on anybody's toes. We wanted to make sure that it was right for the organization. And guys, not only was it right, so basically Dak gave the okay when he heard the song. They basically released the song like 2 days later. The Cowboys social media used the song in like one of their videos, hype videos, things like that. Man, instantly took off. I mean,
You guys get the picture, right?
so anyway, Thank you, baby, for that live demonstration there. So, kind of cool because they were able to also perform that song at like a private Miller Lite party at the Star. But it's not just that. They're actually going to perform it before and after this Cowboy game this Sunday against the Eagles. So this is like kind of the official hype song
for 2023
heading into this game. And yes, to kind of, he even said it literally came together overnight. The Cowboys in like 2 or 3 days had a post with it. It was wild. Him and his dad, like he said, are lifelong Cowboy fans. So he literally made his dad cry from
being on the forefront on this.
Being able to do this. It has over 1 million views. His dad added in there, he couldn't believe it. He was like, it would have been cool if it was any team, but our team, I'm ecstatic. So,
I want to say that, when you guys hear this song this weekend, during the game, outside the stadium, you got your little preview there from OMCF. And I'm sure you guys already heard it. I've already used it in some of my shorts that I've put out there. I'm putting the Here We Go song. I'm putting different parts of it. So everyone gets a little flavor here on MCF from the Here We Go song. And listen, it ain't like a work of art, but it is a hype song for the Dallas Cowboys, and it works with Dak's. The thing that makes it work the most, not the rapping necessarily, it's the Dak Prescott, Here We Go.
It's the clever incorporation.
Yes, that's the hype
the
part.
Dak Prescott, Here We Go.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
That's what makes it the special part of it, I guess you could say.
Like you said, sometimes a song just has to be, have to have good timing. And this is just perfectly timed because the Here We Go is, really getting hot, really catching on. He obviously was able to, make the song with a quick turnaround there. So I'm just saying.
Dak's been doing it for a year and a half.
Solid song.
Dak's been doing it for a year and a half, but it's only been heard recently by the national media.
And like I said, when I first heard it, I'm just glad that the Cowboy hype song that's coming out now feels a little more upbeat, a little bit more like, I don't know, it's easier to get hyped to that song than some of the previous hype songs from the last handful of years, I'll say. So, anyway, let me go ahead, keep rolling here with some of the news and the info. But first, I also got to roll with some of the shout-outs because I do see the man Amazing Games coming through with the $5 holler saying, My MCF, West Coast, $5 holler.
West Side. Much love to the man Amazing Games.
Extra Cali love on that $5
Hell
holler.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Amazing Games.
Much love to him. Is that his first drop of this week? Or the week and a half? I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I see him on here. So he's moving up this board as well. Much love to Amazing Games. And I'm trying to see how far he is from getting another raffle entry in this thing. So just give me a moment here and I'll check for you.
Shout out Jacob Vasquez, WR, Asmodeus, James Herr. But Jacob Vasquez said, y'all touch base on the rest for the game. People are making a big deal out of
Yes,
that.
I did touch on base. And actually, that's one of my keys tonight. Not keys, but one of my matchups to watch for. John Hussey. He's the referee this weekend.
We'll be retouching base on that
a little later.
In a little bit here. But yes, we trust us, guys. How are we going to not touch on the refs, guys? As we know, are we playing football or ref ball?
By the way, Amazing Games right there with that drop. Jumps into 6th place and officially adds another raffle entry to his name. So for this big, raffle for these 4 prizes available from the Lunatic. So much love to Amazing Games as he, adds another chance, ups his chances there. And you know how it goes. West Side, repping that star for everything over there. Amazing Games. Thank you.
And Dustin Roberts saying we'll beat Philly by 10. Oh, man, that'd be great.
Double digits.
Retro Scotty, take it easy. Have a great night.
Later, Retro.
Let me kind of roll back. I just want to make sure we shout out anybody who's hopping in here.
Of course.
Bobby Garrett said, I'm envisioning McCarthy calling plays from his hospital bed.
That's what in my mind, I'm thinking he's laying in bed with the play call sheet. But sounds like he's going to be at the stadium calling the plays. Either way, it's good for us to have him there. So is that the breakdown, by the way, of the whole story behind it? Very good. Very interesting, I thought. So now,
let me hand things off back to you, my love.
Real quick, as Dak did his thing. Well, not his thing. He's going to speak a little later here. But as we heard how this song came about with Dak's blessing, so to speak, how did the day of football go for our Cowboys? So here's the deal, baby. Today the Cowboys practiced in pads for the first time in weeks. Remember, guys, these close games together, there was a lot of resting and jogging and walkthroughs. And we won. We won them all.
Yeah,
So
but we did have this kind of
good
10
maintenance.
days, we do have this 10-day stretch now,
Yeah.
finally, this little break. So it kind of makes sense that right in the middle of that time period, we put some pads on and kind of just make sure we're maintaining that football intensity, right?
You have to. Now we're back to a regular schedule.
Yeah.
So the pads came back on today. As you know, usually we wait till Thursday for the pads to really get going. The pads come on Wednesdays, but they don't do the hitting as much. Today the pads came on, and first time in weeks that this has happened. Here's the crazy thing. They went outside. The wind was 20 miles per hour. It was over 20 mile per hour with 40 mile per hour gusts around the Cowboys facility there in Frisco. So Brian Schottenheimer made the call there, said the team is going to plan to begin the practice outdoors, but if it gets too windy, they'll move to the Ford Center as needed. So when the Cowboys were outside practicing, the wind was over 20 miles an hour.
Okay.
During the start of Thursday's practice. I said Wednesday. It's Thursday's practice. And again, this is the padded day, the hitting day. And it was crazy because wide receiver, as they were starting the drills and stuff, wide receiver coach Robert Prince dropped his play call sheet. And he had to chase it around over 2 practice fields. That's how much he was chasing after. There's pictures of him running all over the field trying to get it.
I'm sorry.
So
that's great.
At that point, they said, "Fuck it, we're moving indoors." And it was funny because Dak came out with Schottenheimer. They came running out and they turned around and went back in. It was not very eventful there.
Fuck that shit.
Cowboys moved practice indoors moments after the quarterbacks took the field during the special teams period of practice, which is how they started off. We talked about Robert Prince chasing the papers. Another staffer chased down her hat to go get. It was flying all over the field. There was too much stuff. And then Brandon, when they were doing special team stuff in practice, Brandon Aubrey's field goal literally went sideways. It almost hit Jerry's office. Yeah. I don't know, but the windiest practice that a lot of people said they ever seen in 5 years today. So that shit went indoors, and that's what they practice indoors.
Crazy Dallas weather.
So what? Again, this ain't we have to practice for that kind of weather when we go on the road and other places. We're at home, so we don't need that kind of weather to practice this week. We're going to be in a dome. So in this practice, we know the players that we see on the field. Everybody was on the field except for 2 guys, Tyron Smith, which we all know it's always going to be that way.
He's the exception.
Yeah, and Zach Martin today.
Oh,
both guys.
Are we including Zach Martin now in the occasional Tyron Smith vet rest days?
Sounds like it to me. 2 undrafted rookies, tight end John Stevens Jr., out for the year. Wide receiver David Durden, also out for the year, both the same exact tear. Working with the Cowboys director of rehab, Britt Brown, today.
Okay.
Both of them, remember, they tore the same left ACL in August. John Stevens, he earned his spot on the 53-man roster. He'll be back there next year. Durden was going to be on the practice squad at best. So that's what he's shooting for to try to get out of next year. But they're both on track for a 2024 return. We saw them on the field today. And I also want to talk about Brandon Aubrey. And let me just throw him up on the screen. Why not?
Yeah, because again, I'm just saying, we're seeing
the kicking outside going sideways. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kicking going sideways outdoors. Kicker Brandon Aubrey today. Again, we know in this first 13 weeks, 12 games, he's made the first 26 field goals of his career. That's a record of all-time record. He's shattered it. It was at 19, now it's at 26, and it continues if he keeps making them. He leads the NFL in combined field goal and point-after attempts. He's on pace to shatter the record for the most touchbacks in a season, which I talked about from day one on him. And yesterday and today, his workload was proactively lightened. They wanted to just rest him a little bit. Yeah, the GPS tracker must be like, the kicker is overloading himself. I don't know.
Not even that, but it's kind of, you did just make me realize something. So it's not just the fact that he's kicked all those field goals consecutively and successfully.
Touchbacks.
It's all the extra points, too, because we have such a high-powered offense. Yeah. We're scoring lots of touchdowns out there. So, yeah, including all the touchbacks. So, holy crap, you're right. Brandon Aubrey's leg has had a lot of work put into it. But this goes back to even, the preseason, guys. So, remember, when we were still hating on Brandon Aubrey, trying to figure out who the heck this scrub
he was
from nowhere land
he was missing a lot of kicks in training camp.
Yeah, so Fossil actually advised him when he first signed on with the Cowboys, because he had told Fossil, hey, I plan on like doing some real heavy-duty training the 2 weeks before training camp, get myself into like ready to go. And Fossil said, no. Aubrey saying, quote, he really told me to tone it down. Take 10 days off. I don't have to be sharp when I get there. There's time for me to slowly work into it. And he had my back. That was something that he followed up on. So
that's what he said that Fossil did. Kind of told him, don't keep busting harder. Take a little bit of time off, kind of reset yourself, your muscles, your brain.
Yeah, and honestly, that one probably led into him not looking so great during training camp as well, if you're seeing that kind of trend there. Because Fossil straight up just told him, it's fine. Take your time, take it easy, take it slow, right?
Yeah, so he missed a little bit more. And then he got back on track.
But kind of back to the more practical side of things, like, okay, how do we run things? So during the regular season now, usually Wednesdays are the day where Aubrey does 10 field goals or extra points. That count, like you said, baby, was diminished, cut down to 6. And that seems like that might be the case moving forward from here as well.
So you got Tyron Smith, management, and you got Brandon Aubrey,
exactly.
management.
So, and again, that's not like 100% confirmed.
No,
it's just that's
trending that way.
Exactly. That's the expectation. Obviously, I think it's one of those things where they're going to see how it affects him this week. If it's something that they can continue to do, those 4 snaps will add up long term, right? Like from here just to the end of the season. That's basically like an entire 2 games worth of kicking that he isn't going to be putting on his leg wear and tear. Mm-hmm. So, it also kind of reflects the fact that, not only did he just play technically some football before he even came to us, but like the way that he's playing right now, he is playing at a high caliber level. So, like you said, baby, this is quite the feather in his cap, right? So, anyway, just throwing it out there that Aubrey basically just said it's awesome. He means everything he says, and he isn't Fossil. He's got complete trust and faith in his players. He doesn't make you feel afraid to make mistakes, which I've had a bunch of coaches in the past that have done that. When you have a coach like that, it really limits your ability to take chances in a game or play freely, because in the back of your mind, you're thinking about making a mistake. That is not the case with Bones. He's the most positive person I've ever been around. He really believes in me, and it's apparent.
Well, and it's showing from Brandon Aubrey's performances out there,
and you know what? That belief apparently makes all the difference, because he is playing, again, some serious lights out special teams play. Yeah,
I mean, you got to give credit to Fossil. You got to give credit, of course, to Aubrey, to what he's done out there. So, we're loving eating our words, doubting Aubrey. He's coming through. That's great to see, So,
heck yeah.
So now, when it comes to the practice went down, right? And what's the injury report? I told you guys, basically everybody was out there except for Tyron Smith and Zach Martin. Second practice report came out today. It was a resting day for Zach Martin. So nobody get upset or scared. Zach Martin, rest day. Yesterday he was limited. Today he didn't practice. It's just maintenance. Tyron Smith also rest day for him today. Rested yesterday. Didn't practice at all. Today did not practice also at all. Peyton Hendershot's on this list, tight end. He's now on the 53-man roster. Has that ankle injury from way back that he's been fine with for a month. Full practice again. He'll be off this list next week. He's good to go for this game. And running back, let me add Rico Dowdle, who we always watch every week. He's another maintenance guy, limited in practice again with that ankle, which has been bothering him for 2 months. He's been playing through that injury. He'll be good for this game as well. So everyone healthy. One other guy who will not play this game, or I don't see him playing this game, but he is officially on the 21-day practice window, just like Hendershot was the last 3 weeks. Matt Waletzko, the offensive lineman, the tackle, that shoulder injury, limited in practice yesterday. Today, full practice with the pads on. So if the Cowboys really wanted to bring in another viable backup offensive lineman, if they had some questions about Adogo, any issues with Awesome Richard, now you have Matt Waletzko to throw in the mix. You can do it this week, next week, or the week after that. You got 21 days to add Waletzko back onto the roster. In 3 weeks, I know I'm banging on wood here, making sure nothing happens. But if there's an injury, that's how you easily move him onto the 53-man roster whenever he's ready, which it sounds like he's almost ready. So Matt Waletzko, what I'm trying to say is right now, knocking on wood, everyone's getting rest. Everyone's almost ready to get on that field fully. Everyone's maintenance. It's maintenance kind of stuff going on there, whether it's, Hendershot's already been done with the maintenance. He's ready to go. Or Rico Dowdle and his ankle, the lineman, Zach Martin and Tyron Smith, they're just getting rest days. They're good. That's maintenance. And then you got, a guy coming off the IR anytime here, Matt Waletzko, who's ready to go, full practice and pads. Great news for the Cowboys when it comes to the injuries. And we'll talk about the Eagles in a minute because they got good news, too, for them, which I'm actually I know some people are like, I'm happy about it. I want the Eagles to be 100% healthy like we are. And let's see what the better team is. Let's see who is the better team. By the way, before we get to after practice, and Dak Prescott had some words to say, let me say the words. Oh, not a skeptical fan.
Mm-hmm.
The words.
Shout out to him.
Oh, much love the skeptical fan. Yes, of course. But the words. And drops. $1.60 holler for Mr. Jason Renfro. Trying to make a little run maybe on that Cash App board. That's the only board he's not in the lead in. But Jason Renfro's on that board, and he is, eyeballing it. 160 plopped in there. Hey, and he's also trying to add some more raffle entries, which again, people are they're getting closer. He's still the leader, but there's a lot of people getting closer and closer. Jason just had a little trickle in there to go forward in that direction. Much love, Jason, and go Cowboys. He's got that CeeDee Lamb, 88 points on the stream boss as of this moment. So baby, I know Mr. Dak Prescott spoke today after practice.
Did he? Though?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He did speak, and I know he spoke. And again, of course, Mike McCarthy's always part of the conversation.
Yeah, because
what was
we
said?
already heard Schottenheimer spoke with McCarthy. Well, Dak Prescott also
we knew he had spoke with him. Yeah.
Spoke with Mike McCarthy, and he said that he's doing well. That McCarthy's already calling Dak. So it's not like just Dak is hitting him up saying, "Hey, coach, you doing good." Mike McCarthy's hitting up Dak saying, "Hey, let's go over the practice film. Hey, I thought of." Calm down, McCarthy, right? So even Dak was asked, do you think McCarthy's going to coach against the Eagles? He said, I figured as much based on how tough he is and how tough he says he is. So prove it.
Ooh,
honestly, that is some loving, good-natured ribbing. Dak wouldn't say something like that unless he actually knew that McCarthy was going to coach. Just throwing that out there because Schottenheimer already let us know.
He let us know, But
I'm just trying to say
I like the fact that Dak can do that with his head coach.
I agree.
And it is great camaraderie with team. Those two guys that it has to be because they're in this together.
Yeah. And let's also be real. McCarthy being out there post-surgery, coaching the team.
It shows something to them.
That shows some grit, right?
It shows grit to Dak and this team. Again, it's all part of the thing you need to kind of get to that goal in the end, that championship. So that's one of those things.
But it was also really cool to see Dak give the props, credit, love, appreciation to the people who stepped up in Mike McCarthy's absence, saying, giving love to the assistant coaches, player leadership for their performance while McCarthy was out, saying, quote, honestly, I'd say it was maybe one of our best practices all year. In a sense that it was to take some stress off of Mike. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that we're coming in, handling this business, and not only that everybody knows what this week's about, who we're playing, and the focus that needs to be done.
I love it. It's like the coach has said, let me prove myself to these guys, the players, and to ourselves. The players say, let me prove myself to these assistant coaches that are now taking over bigger duties. Everyone stepped up in place of Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is ready to help him with plan B, C, and D. This is great. This is a great come-together moment.
I agree.
I'm sorry, for the Cowboys.
It's all right. Go ahead and...
I'm getting emotional. No, I'm not. I just... dry there. Let me get some water. But yeah, guys, it's a great plan by McCarthy. It's set up, and it's great that these coaches and the players are responding in unison, stepping up for these practices. They're more focused, I think. This makes the Cowboys more focused for the Eagles. I don't think it hurts. I think it helps. That's just me, though.
I agree. And, something else that helps is having someone like CeeDee Lamb on Dak's right hand.
Yeah, actually, very true. Before he broke down because Dak and CeeDee Lamb have a connection. And you see that in my title. That's a very important thing in this game against the Eagles. But let me say this. Dak, about this game against the Eagles, people were saying this. He was asked a question. I don't know if you heard this. He was asked a question today that basically mentioned that the Cowboys, we took a big L against the Niners in Week 5, like the Eagles took. He said, quote, "We're still back there? Y'all panicked. We didn't, honestly." So that's what he said. He's like, basically, people are like trying to bring it up, saying, "Well, what changed? What happened? How did you guys?"
Week 5 is old news. We're exactly. Over here.
The Cowboys since then 6-1. Only lost that close game when we shot ourselves in the foot against the Eagles. We let the Eagles win that game, and they took it. Now, Dak Prescott also said, quote, everybody knows what this week's about, who we're playing, and the focus that there needs to be. And that's kind of what I'm saying. I think the fact that they have to have heightened focus because the coach is out is going to make this team even more focused and more decisive and precise when it comes to being efficient on the field against these fucking Eagles. You don't know how much we hate these. I mean, you guys know how much we hate the Eagles. You guys hate the Eagles. So, yeah, this is a big, big game at home. The streak and all that stuff, whatever. It's about winning this game to just make it a battle.
This is a reflection of the hard work that we seem to have put in these last few days.
That's 100% what has to happen. When you look at Dak Prescott specifically, listen to these numbers real quick, baby. Because CeeDee Lamb and Dak spoke about their connection. But first, let's talk about Dak for a quick second. On third down, listen to this. On third downs, which is the money down. You got to be good on third down. He's number 1 in QBR for the season. He's number 1 in passer rating for the season on third down. On third down, he's first in EPA per drop back, and he's number 1 in success rate on third down. There's no quarterback better in the NFL than Dak Prescott. None. Not Mahomes, not Hurts, not anybody else. Dak is number 1 on third down, pretty much any other quarterback out there. Dak and the Cowboys also, our offense, have excelled, like I just said, in late down situations this year. And an opportunity is real to continue that against Philly. Let me explain. The Cowboys on third down as a team, second best in the NFL. We make third downs. We convert third downs 48.5% of the time. The Eagles on defense this week, they're 32nd in the NFL at stopping third downs. They're the worst team. We're the second best team converting third downs. The Eagles defense is the 32nd. The worst defense at stopping third downs in the entire motherfucking NFL. And the way the Cowboys can convert more third downs and make it even easier, not because the numbers say so. There's a very simple way. Give me some 3rd and 2s, some 3rd and 3s, or you don't make those first downs on first down or second down. Give me the 3rd and shorts. Give me those third downs and closer. The Eagles will not be able to stop us. I'm telling you right now, they are the worst team on third down in the NFL. Cowboys the second best team on third down in the NFL. This is one of those matchups that I kind of, is it a player matchup? No, it's a team matchup here. Our offense and the coordinating and play calling from McCarthy versus what the Eagles defense is going to do. That's the matchup right there. On third down specifically, we must win this. We have to. We got to win third downs, or else we are going to, again, it's a step backwards and maybe taking a chance and making it a closer game or losing. I'm just giving you my feelings, but you guys can agree, disagree. That's there for the taking. Big play potential from Dak Prescott against the Eagles, specifically against the Eagles. Dak on downfield passes, 10 yards or more air yards. Those are 10 or farther air yards, meaning they're not throwing 2 yards and they're running. He's throwing it 10 yards or more, and then they're running. 53 completions for Dak. That's first in the NFL. 1,088 yards on those kind of plays, 10 or more yards. Against, again, second best in the NFL. Not against the Eagles. This is against the NFL, but this is against the Eagles' very weak pass defense. Second best for Dak in the NFL yardage-wise. First, when it comes to touchdowns, interception ratio, 15 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. When it comes to deep passing, 10 yards or more. And 10 yards or more air yards, Dak Prescott is number 1 in the NFL when it comes to 146.3 passer rating. The Eagles have allowed 15 downfield pass touchdowns this year. 15 touchdowns. Dak has thrown for 15 deep touchdowns. They are 31st in the NFL, the Eagles. Dak's number 1. So I don't care about the bad teams we played. I don't care about the... This is an Eagle defense. On third down, we can take them down. And on deeper plays, if we get time for Dak to throw the ball, we will cut them and slice them and fucking dice them. Those are facts that should happen in this game from our offense to their defense. Let me drop some facts from the man, Mark Hovsepian, with that 5 on it. Woo. Takes Jason Renfro. Is that to 83 Jalen Brooks points on the stream, boss? Much love, Mark. Appreciate you. What did the man say?
Said those stats mean nothing.
Uh-oh, here it is.
We've had the easiest schedule up until now in the NFL. Let's play a good team with a decent D, and then we can brag.
Well, again, I think it's not about bragging. I will go back. That's why I brought up the whole bad teams thing, because This is against the Eagles defense. Are they a bad team, Mark? Because
they have some weak spots, but they're certainly not a bad team.
Well, we know overall not a bad team, but does it matter? Because if Dak throws for 400 yards, he threw for almost, 350 yards last time. It's 360 yards against the Eagles. That doesn't matter. We had too many mistakes on the offensive line. That's what it comes down to. It's not Dak. These stats will work again for the... Hey, Mark, tell me I'm wrong. You know these stats will be, again, 360 for Dak. Have 3 touchdowns, no picks. Dak was great last game. It was the offensive line mainly. Dak had a mistake here and there. Everybody does. Mahomes has mistakes every game. But the issue here is not Dak. The issue here is the offensive line. So the numbers fit. The numbers fit against a defense like the Carolina Panthers. Sucky team. Great pass defense. Dak was slowed down, but he did not make the mistakes. He put the team in winning situations to win the game. But they had a good damn pass defense, right? So that's a defense you could compare and say, hey, Dak had a bad game in numbers-wise, stat-wise. Not interceptions, but in stat-wise, Dak didn't have that 300-plus yard game. But against the Eagles, he will. Does that mean the Eagles suck? Hell no. That's what I'm trying to say. So I want to know from Mark, like, what direction do I go with that? Because to me, you can say the Panthers had a great pass defense, and it showed. Against not just Dak, but every quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
When you look at the Eagles, they don't have a good pass defense. We should be able to. It's not on Dak. It's on the defense to win this game.
That, Mike Cardana and others are bringing this up too.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This happens to be the first one I see. Just we hurt ourselves with penalties too. Mm-hmm. That I know you haven't touched on it again yet. I know you have it still on the docket there when it comes to the ref situation.
You're not going to like what I'm going to say about the refs.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we have to be extra mindful of that. Yes,
you have to overcome them,
but we will have to play some measure of ref ball. Let's be real. So that means that we have to take advantage of every single opportunity that comes our way, because we know for a fact that these things are going to negatively impact us. To go into this game not expecting the refs to not have at least 1 or 2 situations where we're sitting there wanting to pull our hair out, come on. You know what I mean?
Listen,
so I think it's better to go into this expecting these things, hoping they don't happen, but kind of expecting.
You have to overcome these refs. You have to overcome them, and you have to play cleaner. Whatever that means, it has to be. You got to play better than your opponent because they're picking on you. I don't know. I don't care. It's no excuse. And, Dak was responsible for a penalty or 2, a delay a game with Mike McCarthy in that game against the Eagles there. So it was a group fuck-up, but mainly it was Terrence Steele. Mainly it was the penalties. I agree with Mark on that. But again, I want to know what it is that, and again, Mark just dropped another 5 on it, adding to his raffle entries here, stacking them.
Mahalo, Mark Hosepi.
Much love. What did the man say?
Philly is a good team with a bad D. I'm not blaming Dak. We seem to ignore circumstances like missing cornerbacks or a bad D when we're talking about all these stats.
I agree. No, listen, I 100%, 1,000% agree. We talk about it every week and say, this happened, this happened, that happened with the defense, and now we're playing this defense, and we look better. We played the Jets defense. They were pretty solid, and we still kind of killed them. Yardage-wise, we sliced and diced them, just couldn't score in the red zone. And that was against that was our conservative offense. So, they've shut down teams out there like the Chiefs and others. The Eagles they've beaten. I'm just saying, like, the Jets defense is a good defense, bad offense. But I'm just saying, so to me, when I look at it, man, it's just so many ways you can slice it. But we just agree there's very few elite teams in the NFL. There's very few of them, right? There's 2, 3 elite teams. And a lot of very good teams or great teams. We fall in the great team category. So when you look at it like that, I'm like, man, how can we play these elite teams? It's going to be in the playoffs. That's all. You can't prove it any other time. Right now, these next 4 games, this is where you prove it. The Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Lions. You win 3 out of those 4. Hopefully the Eagles, at least one of them. You're sitting in a very good spot and showing that you can do things and go forward in the playoffs. But it's a team effort. I know Mark didn't talk about Dak specifically on that, but I'm just saying, like, people that have spoken about Dak's playing MVP level. Nobody can deny that. But we're playing defenses that are not the best. Although, when Hurts played them and Mahomes played them and Burrows and Josh Allen, guess what they did? Mm-hmm. I mean, Josh Allen had a shit game against the Jets, but Dak torched the Jets. So Dak is just that good. It's just the way it is. And he's in a better offensive scheme now after week 6 in that bye. That's what matters the most. So we're going to be a better team than we've seen in the first 5-6 weeks of the season. even against better teams and better defenses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In my opinion. Great back and forth. Man, I love this. I could do this all fucking night long, these discussions like this. When you guys specify it, especially when you drop the love from above. Appreciate you guys. And again, much love to Mark, who's in this raffle now with a couple entries at least, stacking them well.
To him. And by the way, an extra shout out here as well to JD from DC with a $10 holler. And he's following that up, Amazing Games with a $5 holler.
So Amazing Games dropped 5 on it. Woo. And JD from DC with that Cooper Rush $10 holler. Guess what he did? He's got himself a raffle entry in this thing, baby. And there it is, a double drop. Hits Jason Renfro on the Stream Boss. We'll see what that looks like in a second.
Mr. JD is also an MCF member, so you know what that gets him as well.
That's true. He gets a bonus raffle entry.
I'm going to actually move a little backwards here just because Amazing Games said my MCF, Dallas 38, Eagles 16.
Ooh, I would love that. I would love it so much. We got to see it, right? I wish we really started a little faster than these slow starts we've seen.
We'll see, one thing at a time, right? But JD from DC said, enough with the schedule bashing. Everyone plays to win games, and that is what Dak has done. When he throws a pick, he sucks. When he throws a touchdown, the other team stinks. Here we go.
Now look, but I agree with you, JD, and I agree with Mark Hosepian. You know why? Because it's both of those things. Can we both agree on that? Sometimes the cornerback is missing. I mean, Carolina Panthers, Henderson was gone, and they already had Horn gone, but they were still a top defense without Horn. So we can't use that as an excuse, right, Mark? But we can say Henderson is out, and that was their best guy left. We can use that as saying, okay, they were a little weakened. Every quarterback, Mahomes and all these other guys go up against weekend defenses every week, right? But my bigger thing is when the Jets played the Bills and shut them down, what happened the next week? And they didn't have injuries. What happened the next week when the Cowboys tore them apart? So that shows, and that was with their conservative offense. Man, it was just a bad matchup, a mismatch of scheme, and it didn't work for the Jets. But how come they shut down everybody else but not us? So I look at it from both sides of that. You can't really judge it on the schedule because we're a different team now than we were back then. I guarantee you, I'll bet you $1 million if I had it, that there's no way the Niners beat us 42-10 if we played them today. I think every single one of us can agree on that. Mm-hmm. This offense is better. This offense has found a rhythm, not because it's bad, only because of bad teams. It's because you can see the schematics are different. Baby, when we watch that game live in Dallas against the Rams, we can see it. It was complete. I watched all 22s.
WTP Niners pretty much said it all. He said the Niners would rather play the Eagles than the Cowboys in the NFC Championship.
I would agree with them on that. Because I don't know if there's a way they can stop our offense as well as they may be able to, because they have a good job. They can do a good job of stopping the Eagles, and that kind of try to run tough, and you grind it out. Guess what? The Eagles, that's what they do, right? But the Niners do it better to stop it. We don't have to grind that. We're more, not say finesse. We're going to be shooting them in the air, and if we get the protection, we get control of the game. Yeah. That's what the Niners are scared of. And again, our defense is all around solid. So the Eagles are very good at stopping the run, but they suck in the air. So that is where they'd love to have Brock Purdy pick the Eagle secondary apart. So you can see the mismatches. We're going to talk about it a little bit more, but appreciate everybody's drops here, getting in the raffle, stacking your raffle entries, giving your great comments and thoughts. And I know that, again, and it started off with me giving these Dak stats, but you're right. These are against bad teams and good teams. These are wins and losses. This is not just against the last couple of weeks. These are the whole season. Dak is number one on a lot of these things, guys. And when I'm comparing it to the Eagles, right? Let me just do this so we can follow along a little bit better here. When I say the Eagles, I mean the Eagles getting cooked up by Dak Prescott. Listen, again, Cowboys' third down offense, second in the NFL. Bad teams, good defense, bad defenses, whatever. The Eagles are 47%. Allowing third down conversions, that's 32nd in the NFL. I mean, did they play great teams? They played similar teams to us. So you got that, right? Then you got the fact that Dak Prescott getting the ball down the field, it's working against the Panthers or against the Eagles. Even we lost against the Eagles, beat the Panthers, but Dak throwing the ball down the field in McCarthy's scheme after the 2-week break is working for the Cowboys, and it's working for Dak Prescott with these air yards. What about The Eagles stopping everybody's air yards. They've allowed 15 air yard down the field touchdowns. That's 31st in the NFL. That is horrific. So, I'm not saying we're going to dominate them like that, but the wound is there. Let's fucking attack that bitch. And we got ourselves a drop here from two ballers in the house.
Woo.
Mark Hosepian dropping that $10 holler. JD from DC dropping that $10 holler. Break it down, baby. What do these two guys have to say about this matchup, about our discussion right now? This is what it's about. So, a big game. There's big energy here for this. What are they saying? Help me learn.
So first, Mark Hosepian said, what's more impressive, holding a running back to 3 yards per carry and having 3 sacks, or 3 yards per carry and 1 sack? The first for sure.
Right.
But if the first was with a backup left tackle and the 1 sack was to Trent Williams, you got to think a bit.
Yes. I hear him. No, I say if the second one is against Trent Williams, well, that's the better performance, right? 100%. I'm in the same boat with Mark on this. I agree. But I also got to also say that other teams, right, Mark, agree with me on this, right? Like Mahomes, when he puts up some of his numbers, sometimes they're missing their starting edge rusher, who's like TJ Watt. You know what I'm saying? Or they might be missing their best. Maybe Ramsey didn't play with the Dolphins when Hurts was there, right? We know that he wasn't there yet, right, Ramsey? Or when the Chiefs were there with Mahomes. So, you know what I'm saying? So you have to look at it from that, too. Every quarterback is going to have a weakness from an injury on the opponent's side to pick at, right? I'm just saying, but I do agree with him on that. I'm also trying to give the whole viewpoint here that when you compare him, Dak, to any quarterback out there, you're going to get these other quarterbacks in similar. They didn't play the best of every team they played this year, right?
Yeah.
Neither did Dak. That's all. That's all I'm saying, Mark. So I agree, but I'm also elaborating on my statement and saying that I understand why Dak, the way you can look at Dak and say, okay, Dak's also doing something as well.
JD from DC with his $10 holler said, the difference with Dak this year versus any other years is he's thrown at least 2 touchdowns to 6 different receivers and 14 players have at least 1 reception. Dak is spreading the wealth.
He has spread it before, though. He has done it in these other, you remember we had the receiver by committee and he had to spread the ball around and we did all right, but I mean, it's more efficient now. It's a little more attacking and it's more of, to me, it's like Dak going through his progressions, but he knows he can use his feet as a dual weapon. And to me, that opens up Dak's confidence and the ability to attack on offense, whether it's through his legs to extend the play, to get 4 yards and slide and make it a 2nd and 6. We'll take it. But he's doing the right thing now, which is, I've been saying this for years here. I'm not saying he's doing exactly this, but these things seem to have opened up Dak Prescott to be more comfortable and confident in McCarthy's scheme, which is allowing this to happen. That's all. Remember, he said he's going to take ownership of this offense. I think the last couple of weeks, the last 2 months, let's say, Dak has done that against teams like the Eagles, overall good team, a team like the Panthers' pass defense, which bad record, bad offense, but a great pass defense. And even when we had our bad, shitty offense, we did it against the Jets, who have shown to be a solid defense as well, overall. Stopping the run and the pass. So, again, just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to throw out both sides of the argument, and you both make sense on this. We're both together here. We want number 6.
I agree.
And again, I want to make sure I reiterate this, though, baby. When you talk about a good team out there, when we're one of the top 5 teams, how many teams are better than us? You know what I'm saying? Or how many teams are as good as us that we can say, okay, we're going to play the Bills and the Dolphins. Are they better than us? Some say yes, some say no. But they're up there with us, so this will be the true test. It ain't going to be the Giants and the Commanders again. Although those divisional games, Mahomes and stuff, those guys, Mahomes had a problem against the Broncos because it's a divisional game. You know what I mean? They lost. So it happens to every quarterback, and
I think the one thing that we're all kind of forgetting, and we've said this a few times. Yes. Obviously, laying the smackdown on bad teams is not exactly all that in a bag of chips. But even the really, really good, dominant, soul-crushing teams, we're not laying the smackdown on the crappy teams the way that we currently are doing this year. And that does, I don't want to say it counts for something, but it does, right? Like, it is hard to consistently...
That's the key, consistently.
Bad teams the way that we're doing it.
Right.
The consistency that we're seeing from our offense and even some of our defensive players right? Like, that does matter because that will translate to some of those tougher games, like Seattle, right? We had a few tough moments, we had a few tough situations, but those types of plays help directly translate to, hey, this is how we were able to overcome that.
Yeah, and I think when you had chances to do things against other teams, like open up the Brandon Cooks thing.
It's the reason
and find
why
out some of the guys that can step up.
Wasn't 43-17 or some other stuff. It was 28-23, right? It was a close game because we had already taken some of the necessary steps to improve on some of the reasons why we lost before. So again, as we continue to progress in that way, as our players look better, as Dak continues to look better, right? Like, we are expecting a better performance against Philly. And yeah, maybe they are a little bit weaker, maybe they aren't as good, but the point is they're still one of the dominant teams right now
overall
in the NFC/the NFL. So it still counts for something for us to go out there and beat them. And on top of that, it is a divisional rival.
Oh, yeah.
So even if we play our best football, we know it's going to be a tough game because these games always are.
Yeah, it should be. And it will be. But I think we can control this game. What did JD from DC say, baby, with that 5 on it? Halfway to another raffle entry.
He said, don't forget, we do not have a consistent running game.
That is, you know what I think? I've been saying this for a little bit in my mind. I don't know if I've said it out loud. But it's, it scares me. And it doesn't scare me in trying to run it. But if we get into a game where the weather affects things like snow or rain, then what happens to our team? That is we haven't talked about this, but in the playoffs, weather always plays a factor. We got San Francisco, we got Philly. Philly could snow.
Okay, but we already, you know what?
No, let me know.
We kind of saw a little bit of that because even without a consistent run game, we still
the defense
managed to. I hate to bring it all the way back to week 1.
Yeah, the Giants game.
But I think that's a great baseline for, okay, how do we do this without necessarily having everyone all that great at running? Side note, we have been seeing more Rico Dowdle. We've been seeing some of that small progress when it comes to the way that we use our running back situation. So,
but let me.
Maybe I'm just saying that it still makes me slightly more positive if we end up in one of those scenarios. But realistically speaking, you're probably going to end up seeing Dak himself probably take on a bit of that load in a situation like that. That's just me, obviously, with a very preliminary.
Well, I know thought process
there, yeah. But, without knowing our matchup, without knowing more details,
but let me say something.
That's about the best I've got.
Here's the thing, though, like the Niners, if they have weather issues, what are they going to do? They're going to just give it to McCaffrey. They're going to put up 18 offensive linemen, and they're going to run down your throat. That's what they're going to do. And you know what? They do that well, right? Am I wrong about that? I mean, they are pretty fucking good at just running at you, running you over. In a rainy game, what are they going to do? They're going to run you over. What about the Eagles? They utilize Hurts and Swift and Gainwell in their running attack, and they do a good job at attacking you running the ball. In the rain and the snow, they have practice. They've done it, and they've been successful. Have we been successful running the ball on a consistent basis? We can count on the run game. We're going to have to, but can we? I mean, they come through, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And that's my only worry about this team in the playoffs in a rainy, snowy game where it disables your passing game. Now, we'll say this. Our defense being dominant as we are, that's great. But what happens when we have to stop the run constantly when they're running at us? Can we do that in the snow, in the rain, against the Niners, against the Eagles? Question mark. Question mark. I'm saying it. That's the way it is. So anyway, that was a good little divergence there, guys. Any quick thoughts on anything we just said? Maybe.
Yeah, Smody said, please knock off all the doom and gloom talk.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm challenging us here.
Calling you out.
Other people.
Just in general.
Okay, no, I'm challenging us to think about what happens when the rain or the snow hits.
Pioneer said the spread offense helps alleviate terrible offensive line play. Our running game will get folded in the playoffs.
See, we might not need the run game, and I truly mean that. If there's not a weather issue, we can still throw that first down pass, make those yards, and use that concept. But if it's raining, snowing, and it's just really hard to get those passes for any team going forward, passing the ball, it disables the pass game, then we got to worry about the run.
Lost in translation. Cracking me up. He said, "Dear Santa, can you find it in your heart to give Brock Purdy VD?" Unfortunately, he looks like a good old country farm boy. So, unless he's getting down with the sheep, I don't think we're going to be finding that anytime soon.
Well, look, let me get back on track because I know we just talked about a lot of little Dak stats, and it was a great little conversation. But let's also switch it up, baby, on the communication between Dak Prescott. This is part of the title. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. We know the connection is there, but they actually spoke on this connection, right? Didn't they, baby? I mean,
they did.
I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb kind of spoke on Dak. And I'm going to take this ugly-ass Eagle logo in the back. Even though I do like it getting all cooked up. Trust me, I love them getting cooked. But Dak Prescott...
on sale this week.
Exactly. We're going to see it live in effect. CeeDee Lamb had something to say about his quarterback, Dak Prescott.
I'd say we're both winners. We're willing to do whatever it is, whether it's a change in our technique, whatever it takes for him to be comfortable in the pocket when he sees me, and for me to be comfortable in my route when I see him. Being on the same page, staying true to each other, and staying within the boundaries of the play. And then Dak said about CeeDee, that guy does everything the right way. He's just reaping the rewards for all the work he's put into this thing. Our trust, the way that he attacks and approaches this game. We both are conquerors. We want to overcome whatever it is, whatever the situation or problem is. That guy's a playmaker and he wants to make plays. I'm always going to want a guy around that's asking to make more plays than the opposite. And you know, by the way, CeeDee Lamb also threw in there because he was asked, like, what's your favorite combo of uniform and helmet or whatever? Because we're wearing, what's the uniform combo again, maybe? Yeah, I was going to say, I know you have the
color rush. You see at the bottom left, we got the white helmets with the current star on the white helmet, like we use for Thanksgiving, but instead of the blue star, it's the only blue star. It's it's the current star, and you're wearing your color rush, which you see here, the second from the bottom on the left, right? You go to the bottom left, that one with the little blue trim on the shoulders. That's the same one we wore for the Chargers game.
I know that's the one that you personally say is your favorite. CeeDee Lamb agrees. He said, this is my favorite one.
Hell yeah. CeeDee Lamb knows. I think I'm going to get a pure CeeDee Lamb jersey in color rush just because he said that. Hell yeah. Thank you, CeeDee Lamb, for making my decision for me on that. So, yeah, baby. We're breaking down the Dak CeeDee Lamb connection here real quick. Let me throw in a couple quick little statements about this. And no matter which team, again, this goes to Mark, Hovsepian, no matter which teams are playing good or bad, there's no denying, right? Dak and CeeDee Lamb have a great connection. I mean, we would play the best defenses. Even when we play the Niners, even when we play the Eagles. They connected. They still did damage. So since the bye week, since the McCarthy alterations, they have not just connected. They've gone crazy. Dak Prescott has targeted CeeDee Lamb 79 times since week 6. And he had 79 times, 56 were catches, and he had 707 yards on those 56 catches, scoring 7 touchdowns in 6 games. Just so you guys know, that's a 70.8% completion percentage when Dak Prescott targets number 88 since the new scheme let's say the altered scheme by Mike McCarthy. This duo, all right, of CeeDee Lamb and of Dak Prescott, this duo, this combo, is really been unstoppable since the last 6-7 weeks. And again, some bad teams, but some good teams, and a good defense here and there, doing great. Now, when I focus back on CeeDee Lamb, he leads the NFL in receptions. Number 1 in receptions. Number 1 in receiving yards. He's actually number 2 in receiving yards, I think he is, right? But this is in the slot. He leads the NFL in receptions in the slot. He leads the NFL in in receiving yards in the slot position. That means not the outside receiver, but the inside receiver. Let's just put it that way to make it easier. Philadelphia. Now, how about the Eagles? How do they do in the slot? In the nickel cornerback situation, Philadelphia leads the NFL in a receiving yards given up, receiving yards allowed from the slot position this year. Yeah. Guys, they've given up 1,359 yards this season, while CeeDee Lamb has the most receptions, most receiving yards, and most touchdown receptions from that same spot that the Eagles cannot cover. So let's count it together, baby. We'll probably have to go through this again tomorrow or the next day. But as you guys can obviously tell, third downs, big advantage for us. You got targeting CeeDee Lamb in the slot. Huge advantage for us. So, there's a lot of, and I think there was something else, and I already forgot what it was. We have a lot of advantages, our offense versus their, the deep passes, 10 yards or more, big advantage for us, not just against the freaking Commanders, against the Eagles. This is specifically the Eagles in these matchups. These aren't even player matchups. These are just situational matchups. So right now, guys, and you flip it over to Mr. Brandon Cooks, right? Brandon Cooks, guys, has 83 receiving yards per game since week 10. Good team, bad team. He's more incorporated. You know what I'm saying? We play a good team or a bad team. He's more incorporated in our offense. That's what's important. So since week 10, 83 receiving yards per game. And he scored a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games. He's also third in the NFL right now with 4 touchdowns against press coverage. Only Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans have 5. That's what Brandon Cooks is giving you, some sneaky numbers here that's going to be helping us when we play better teams, better defenses, specifically in the playoffs. Specifically. Mary Alvarez in the house. Much love with that 5 on it.
Woo!
Much love to Mary, who, by the way, baby, she just got into another raffle entry. She's like 7 back on another one, I think. I'm sorry, 8 back on another one, and she is, if I'm not mistaken here, just jumped over Skeptical Fan into second place on the overall board. Mary. Quite contrary. Appreciate you, and go Cowboys. What did she have to say, baby?
Go Cowboys.
Oh, well,
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate you, and of course, keep it up, pump it up.
That's what she said?
With the little sticker.
Woo! Well, thank you, Mary. With the 5 on it, she's now, I'll have to update that board here. And I think I have to update the board again with another name here in a moment. But I just want to give a shout out to Brandon Cooks, specifically there, who is really showing up in press coverage. We got press coverage. Brandon Cooks. We got CeeDee Lamb in the slot. Attack, baby. Attack, baby. Attack, baby. The Dallas Cowboys have scored 9 touchdowns when we were inside the red zone in the last 3 games against weaker teams. The Seattle is one of those supposedly better than weak teams, right? But anyways, the last 3 weeks we've scored 9 touchdowns inside the red zone, which is fantastic. That's the most in the NFL. The Eagles' defense, against much better competition, I will say, have allowed 10 touchdowns when defending inside their own red zone in the last 3 games. That is by far the worst in the NFL. So right now they're in a trajectory going down in the red zone, mainly against the opponents, I think. And we're on an upward trajectory in the red zone trying to score. So again, another little mini advantage if you look at it, if you break things down into a 3-week, 3-game period, or whatever you want to say on that side of things. Just want to throw that in there. With our passing game, we're going to be doing damage. But hopefully in the running game, we're going to do damage too. With our offensive line. Let me explain here. The left side, baby. We've talked about the Smith & Smith company on the left side. Left tackle, Tyron Smith. Left guard, Tyler Smith. The left side of the Cowboy offensive line has proven to be one of the best in the NFL. I believe they are the best in the NFL. Listen to this. Tyler Smith at left guard. Mm-hmm. He only allows a 4.6% quarterback pressure rate. He doesn't that's number 1 among all left guards that have 250 snaps or more in the NFL. That's number 1 in pass blocking when it comes to allowing pressure. Tyron Smith, he allows a 6% quarterback pressure rate. That is number 1 amongst all left tackles, which is the hardest spot there on the offensive line there. You're going to give up a little more at tackle than at guard. But again, 1.4% more. That's it. He's the best at not allowing pressure on the quarterback, of left tackles that have 250 or more snaps there. Tyron Smith, left tackle, number 77. Tyler Smith, number 73, left guard. The best duo in the NFL as far as an offensive line is concerned. I'm convinced by that. And the reason that we have Tyron Smith in there is because of Mike McCarthy and the new kind of mindset of, hey, let's just rest them all week, play in the game. Rest them all week, keep him limber, but don't hit him, don't have him running around there, and then play him in the game. That's how you make Tyron Smith last, and that's how you make that left side blast. I love it. They give Dak pressure. We need more of that this week against the Eagles, especially Hassan Reddick. I'll talk about that in a minute. DeMarcus Lawrence. When you look at the defensive side, guys, you look at the trenches on offense, the trenches on defense. DeMarcus Lawrence might go. I mean, listen. we talked about it yesterday, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, but for the Cowboys, he might go down as one of the best run defenders in his generation of football players. You know why? He has ranked in the top 10 among defensive edges for run stopping percentage in 5 of the last 6 years. Top 10. He was second in 2018, tied for 8th 2019, tied for 3rd in 2020. 2021, he only played 7 games. In 2022, he was number 1. In 2023, this year, he is number 1 at stopping the run as an edge. My goodness. His consistency in the pass rush, where he's always around the ball in the pass rush, leadership in the locker room. This is why Tank has become one of the best overall defensive edge players in the NFL when it comes to, as a defensive player to have in your team is just great, one of the best. But as a run-stopping edge, I know we didn't pay him for that, but the man does not allow the run on his side. He did it in that 2 years ago against the Niners, and he hasn't done it since. He hasn't allowed since that break. So, again, DeMarcus Lawrence, keep it in your mind. Listen, when it comes to this game against the fucking Eagles, and hopefully, I want to see this happening on the sideline. You'll be cheering, of course, baby, but Nick Sirianni needs to be crying, fuck the Eagles. Yeah, I said it. The E-Gals, E-Girls. Let's cook them up. Here's the thing, baby. Listen to this. What's the playoff chances if we beat this team? All right? If the Cowboys win, does this mean that we are it's a toss-up for the division? I know we have a harder schedule. We just got to, whoever wins more, guys. The Eagles hold the tiebreaker because of NFC conference wins and also difficulty. So their schedule, the remaining schedule for the Eagles are very easy. The Cowboys are very tough schedule. So even if the Cowboys win, the actual numbers, if the Cowboys beat the Eagles, the numbers to win the division and to win the conference, to win the division, it changes. I think the Eagles will still be 60%, 65% to win the division. In fact, let me look at the numbers here. Guys, right now, the current odds to win the NFC East, the Eagles are favored 82%. They have an 82% chance to win the NFC East, the Eagles.
Well, we already kind of knew that this was going to be an uphill battle if we really wanted to try to do something like that.
A win by the Philadelphia Eagles puts them up 17 points. They go to 99%. Basically, if they win this game, they win the East. The Eagles.
Again, like I said, no surprises.
If they lose to the Cowboys, if we're able to beat the Cowboys, it drops them 13%. It's a total of 30% difference. And after this game, there'll be a 30% change. Because then their chances go from 82% to 69%. They drop to 69%. It's still big. It's still got a good chance, but it's now they lose a game and we win out. We get the East, and we at the very least get the second seed or the first seed. So again, that's what that looks like. So winning this game is extremely important, but it's far from where we need to go if we want to get that first round bye and that home field through the playoffs, right? Yeah. Now, you see all these, you see the E-Girls, you see fuck the Eagles right there, which I know Snug X, one of the first ones that brought that up. But I also want to say, well, how their injury reports doing out there, right?
Yeah, well, what are they looking like? And take it easy, amazing games. Have a great night. To everybody who I know has to head out now. Take it easy. Have a great night. Don't forget, though, before you head out, to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And, of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah, I also want to shout out to everybody who dropped the love so far tonight and anybody who will drop the love anymore tonight. I do want to say and remind everybody that that freaking fantastic raffle, that lunatic raffle, 4-prize raffle. A lot of people have been up in their numbers right here, guys, right? Mary Alvarez, now second place on the overall board. I got to fix that board, by the way. A lot of people going up this thing, moving up the board, adding raffle entries. Again, $10 per entry, unlimited entries. You can keep stacking them, and you get a bonus entry if you're in the membership. Just another little chance to get a chance to win one of these 4 great prizes. That's how you get in this thing. The prizes, 4th place prize, it's the car package there. Lanyard, you got flags, you got decals, pins, license plate covers, etc. Great package. Another gear package here. Personalized, one-of-a-kind gear package. Any name, any number, and I know a lot of different sizes of shirt, And I'm pretty sure the front is a cowboy. It has a star or something like that on it. That's what you get if you are if you get this package, personalized shirt, and of course Micah Parsons Dallas Cowboy hat. There you see it with the autograph embroidered with the number 11. This is my personal favorite prize, but you can never beat the overall embroidered, sewn and stitched first and second place prizes, which first place gets this and second place gets one of these, a jersey of your choice of about 40 different players, different styles, all kinds of sizes, men, women, children. Fantastic stuff from Cowboys Mosh. Get your jerseys from him, but you'll get them here if you're first and second place. So good luck to all in this thing, and much love to the Lunatic for making this thing happen. Go Cowboys.
Ooh.
Halftime of the Eagle game, Sunday night. Be here. You'll find out who the 4 winners are. 4 different separate winners going to win these fantastic 4 prizes. Let's go Cowboys and fuck the Eagles. Now, injury-wise, let me get into this. Wide receiver Julio Jones, groin issue, was out of practice second straight day. Did not participate in practice back-to-back. So I don't think he's trending to play Julio Jones. Not that he's really done much for them this year. But the player that everyone's kind of watching is Darius Slay, the number 1 cornerback. He had a knee issue, but also had a rest day yesterday. Didn't practice. Today, he also didn't practice. Some Eagle fans, I feel Philly 500, they're getting a little nervous. But I think this is just games that they're playing. I think he's fine. He's going to play. He's got a tweaked knee, so he can stay out of practice. It's kind of like the Tyron Smith treatment, the Zach Martin treatment. That's my guess on this.
Eagles are biters on that too?
A little bit. They steal everything from us. Slay's missed practice. It raises eyebrows, 2 consecutive days of absences. But again, typical veteran maintenance, just 2 days instead of 1, is what's probably what it's going to be there. Linebacker Zach Cunningham, who's one of the guys that they're very thin at linebacker. One of their starters, a hamstring issue. He remains limited 2 days in a row, trying to progress to rejoining the core linebacking crew they got there, who now, of course, adds Shaquille Leonard, who, by the way, was at practice. He's number 50. And he was out there doing drills and stuff. Looks like he maybe play. I just don't know how much. How many snaps will he play? That's still to be determined. But it sounds like he's going to play. And then you look at Fletcher Cox. Groin issue. Tight end Jack Stahl with the knee issue. That's the second or third tight end. They've both been upgraded from limited practice yesterday to full practice today. So, again, they are good to go. Both tight ends, Dallas Goedert with the forearm. He's been activated. He's going to be activated this week. And Grant Calcaterra, the other tight end, both were already full practice yesterday. So all 4 guys there, Grant Calcaterra, Jack Stroll, Dallas Goedert, those are 3 tight ends, and Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle, all were full practice today. They will all play.
Okay.
You got to watch Zach Cunningham and maybe Julio Jones looks like he's out. Darius Slay is probably the only guy, and this is great news because you know why? We get to play the Eagles at full fucking strength.
Yeah, so
no excuses, bitches.
So exactly, there's no more like, oh, we're playing weak teams or whatever. Like,
yeah, they have their team that's
loaded,
got
ready
them.
to go.
They got this team here that got them to this record, 10-2, whatever the fuck they are. So when you look at the comparison stats, real quick, baby, the Cowboys. On offense, we are number 1 scoring team in the NFL. And I know we played bad teams and all that stuff, but not every team can do that. Other teams playing bad teams.
Yeah.
32.3 points per game this year. That's number 1 in the NFL. The Eagles, they score about 27.4 points. They're 4th best in the NFL. Opponent scoring rank. Cowboys allow 18.3 points per game. The Eagles allow 24 points per game on defense. So you can score. 3 touchdowns in the field goal pretty well every week on this team. They rank 24th when it comes to their defensive ability to stop the scoring points there. Now, offensive rank, the Cowboys rank 5th. The Eagles offensively rank 9th on offense. And when you talk about, rushing offense, the Cowboys drop out of the top 10. They're 11th best in the NFL, which I'm actually kind of surprised we're that high. 117 yards per game. The Eagles running game, I'm surprised that they're 8th. I thought they'd be higher. 126 yards per game. Now, passing offense, the Cowboys, we're rolling at third best passing offense in the NFL, 263 yards per game. The Eagles are throwing out at 235 yards per game. That's 13th in the NFL. Defensive ranks, when it comes to the total defense, Cowboys defense are 3rd best when it comes to yardage allowed. Eagles, 22nd. They allow 350 yards per game. The Cowboy rush defense, we're 12th best in the NFL. We allow 106 yards. They only allow 90 182.3 yards per game. That's it. Their run defense is ranked 4th in the NFL. And when it comes to the passing defense, the Cowboys allow 181.1 yards per game. That is best. That is 5th best in the NFL pass defense. The Eagles' pass defense, this is a big weak spot. They allow 260.3 yards per game on against their pass defense. That's 29th in the NFL. When you break down that roster, you can see that the gap between these two teams is a lot smaller than it was when we played them in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
A month and a half ago. The Eagles still have the edge at some of the more important spots you may say. Now, I disagree with, I think at home Dak has the edge at quarterback over Jalen Hurts. Offensive line, they still have a damn good offensive line. So even how good ours are playing well, they still have a better O-line. They have a better overall D-line, I would say. And, of course, coaching, I would say, as well. But, and I don't mean Sirianni, I mean his squad there.
Yeah.
As a whole, it's close. It's not as big of a chasm as it was in the past. Dak has been playing at an elite level and is right there with Hurts, if not Hurts right there with him for the MVP spot there. And playing in Dallas, like I said, makes Dak better. The Cowboys' defensive line has more sacks than the Eagles' defensive line. So you can see the Cowboys are also not just close, but maybe better than the Eagles' defensive front, especially going at the pass rush side. The coaching staff with McCarthy switching things around after the bye week and getting things going during that. 2 weeks later we get the Eagles. Now I think we're hitting our stride. Bad teams or not, the Cowboys feel better, confident, and I think they know what they're doing out there a lot better. Since the Eagle game, they've gotten better. So again, I think the coaching has been upgraded there. Number 1 offense basically since then, and Dan Quinn, number 4 defense since then. So still up at the tops there on offense and defense. Coaching wise, biggest gap probably offensive line. Because there's too much inconsistency on the Cowboys' offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line is probably why they are able to pull out the wins. And that is the biggest thing we have to get through there. Not just Micah, but the rest of the guys. So I will say this, though. The Eagles' offensive line has not been as dominant as they are used to have been, especially last year and the year. But this year they've been dominant. They've been dominant, but it's been falling off in recent weeks. So keep an eye on that. The Eagle playmakers on offense are, I would say, maybe even a little better than the Cowboys right now because Dallas Goedert is back. But CeeDee Lamb, to me, he's the biggest playmaker on the field. We got bigger playmakers individually, I think, than they do. I think Ferguson is closer to Goddard than people think as a playmaker. But they got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, so we'll see what happens there. Cowboys probably have more talent on defense. I mean, without question, I believe we have more overall talent on defense than the Eagles do. And our linebackers are playing better than theirs. Our secondary is playing at a very high level, even without Trayvon Diggs all these weeks. And our defensive pass rush is still Micah Parsons led. So, what are some of the stats you can see here in this game coming up here? The Cowboys are tied for second in pressures with 205 per PFF. The Eagles allow the 5th most pressures in the NFL with 196. So we should be attacking their offense, no doubt in my mind that should be happening. So Micah Parsons, if he hits 13 sacks this year, only the second player to do that since 1982 in their first 3 years. The only other guy was Reggie White. Brandon Aubrey, I talked about him with 26 field goals in his rookie year. The Cowboys season record by a rookie kicker is Richie Cunningham, back with 34 kicks in his rookie year in 1997. CeeDee Lamb, over this game, this all comes through the records we're seeing coming up here against this Eagles game. But CeeDee Lamb, over his first 4 seasons, had 8 games with 10 or more catches. Only the 5th player to ever do that. He also has a touchdown catch in 4 straight games. One more, he'll be the first Cowboy since Dez Bryant in 2013 to accomplish that. And Jake Ferguson, he loves this E-Girls team. It's kind of like, it just seems like, we had, Blake Jarwin always, or these guys always doing great against the Giants at tight end. But Jake Ferguson loves playing against the Eagles. Ferguson, in 3 games, has 12 receptions for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the first game between these two teams, he had 7 catches and a touchdown this year. So Ferguson, a major piece. We did that all in the first half. I don't know why we went away from that. But to me, we're still working that offense. I think we kind of cleaned up some things on that. So I don't think you have any more stuff for tonight, right? Maybe because
No, that's it on my side.
Because I do have a couple of quick last matchups to watch for. All right, and I'm going to take the Eagles trash off my screen here. I'll throw up something like this because to me, I'm going to start with a couple of things here. And it starts with the referees actually. So give me a moment.
I'll allow that, but since I know people, we're starting to wrap things up here, let me remind everybody to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord, the link for that's in the description box down below. And of course, don't forget, we have to shout out the people making MCF happen here, like our sponsor of the week and Cash App King, SnugX. Shout out to him, of course. Extra special shout out to Jason Renfro, the stream boss, with 48 points still left on there. And a huge shout out to Mary Alvarez, the membership gifting queen.
Much love to Mary. Everybody in the house again. And Jason Renfro, he's trying to take it over, baby. First place on the overall board. Still has a stream boss. First place on the gifting membership board. Much love to him on that side of things. And much love to the leader on the Cash App right now, Stanley Smith, in first place currently and racking up. I checked the numbers there. He's still in fourth place. This is a battle. I got to actually fix the numbers. So hit up the chat a little bit. You can see the ref is gonna be one of my first kind of points to make here specifically in this Eagle game. This is what you want. Some of you guys wanted to hear. You're about to hear it.
So let me see here. And again, I appreciate that, SnugX, of course. Eric Black asking, Goddard playing?
Looks like it, yes.
It seems very likely
he's going to be taking off. He had that window going with the 21-day window. He's going to be taking off of that and going to the 53-man roster. So I want him at their best,
Early, late, 5 minutes, a whole stream. We just appreciate you guys taking time to come on here, hang with us, chill with us, and let me keep rolling back here. Let me see here. Eric, if the Cowboys beat the Eagles, the Niners get the number 1 seed because they win the tiebreaker.
Who is this? Say that again?
No, Mary just saying that, even if we beat the Eagles, the Niners still have one over on us, right?
Well, and the Eagles do too on tiebreaker. So we have to beat the Eagles, and the Eagles have to lose a game for us to pass them up, and the Niners still have to lose a game if you want that number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. So yeah. By the way, I do have to say, Eastside Harold dropping $1 holler, and he said, "Go Cowboys." But he also said the Texans are in the playoffs. Now, we'll see about that, but they are definitely getting closer, for sure, to being in the playoffs. They're having a goddamn good year. I got to give you credit there. Not you credit. Texans credit. C.J. Stroud doing a great job, right? A fantastic job.
I agree.
I think he's the leading, yardage guy in the NFL, throwing the ball, if I'm not mistaken. So, great stuff there, C.J. Stroud, even though. Go Cowboys.
Of course.
So anyways, matchups to watch in this game. Pretty simple, guys. The referees. We talked about it earlier in the week. John Hussey is going to referee. He's the head ref for this game against the Cowboys. Baby, do you know these numbers? The Eagles are 7-0 when he referees games. The Eagles have never lost when John Hussey referees their game. Ever. 7-0. And that includes last year's Monday Night Football against the Cowboys and also the NFC Championship game for them against the Niners. In those games, the Eagles were penalized only 6 times compared to 21 times for the opponents. Now, Cowboys and Niners were penalized 21 times in those 2 games. It's incredible that the Eagles get only 6 penalties. And the opponent, Cowboys, the Niners, 21 combined in those 2 games. So somehow McCarthy brought in some refs this week on the plan, on the dock. He wasn't there, but he brought refs into to the practices to make sure the Cowboys are even, I guess, a way to kind of be more even mindful of the refs and to do the right thing when they're in coverage, when they're on the offensive line. This is what this crew's going to throw the most flags at. They throw, top 5, 6 most flag happy crew. About 16 per game.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with Hussey. He's going to be looking to throw flags on the Cowboys. Cowboys have to be extra clean this fucking game. I don't hear the refs are cheating. They're cheating, not cheating. You can't help it. You got to overcome the refs. That's your ref check part 2 this week. Now, a player to watch, and he's on this screen. In my opinion, DeAndre Swift, number 0, running back. Eagles go as far as their entire running game goes. When Jalen Hurts, he is a very good quarterback in general, right? I don't think he's a great quarterback or elite, but he's a very good quarterback. He's able to make plays, though. Not just throwing the ball, but with his arm, with his legs, and that's the key there. Dual threat, obvious dual threat. It's clear. The Eagles are a better football team when they're able to lean on players in the running game, their offensive line, and DeAndre Swift. Stopping DeAndre Swift is a key for the Cowboys, and it's not going to be easy against this offensive line. You got to remember, guys, if you got to pick your poison sometimes against this kind of approach against the Eagles. A lot of guys you got to watch, keep your eye on running. Is it Hurts? Is it Swift? And that offensive line doing that job. They got some great schematics working there with pulling guards and pulling tackles and centers. They do a great job at this. Their offensive line is great. So a lot of people have to understand that the Eagles will probably want to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands on the ground to get the running games started. And then Swift will be integrated into it. So you got to watch Mr. DeAndre Swift along with number 1, Jalen Hurts. Looking at the other side of things, though. All right? Mm-hmm. Look at the defense of when you look at their defense and our offense, baby, there's no question in my mind going by the last game that on that last drive, we had an issue with Terrence Steele and their offense and their defensive line. They had 3 different guys get sacks, mainly number 7, killing Terrence Steele. Number 7 is Hassan Reddick. Listen, the last time the Cowboys and Eagles played, it was Week 9, and Terrence Steele has one of his worst performances of his entire fucking career. He gave up 12 quarterback pressures. He gave up 7 hurries. He gave up 4 sacks on his own. Now, he's been better since then, but the opponents maybe haven't been as good, right? Philadelphia's they're going to be attacking him the entire game with all these guys. You can bet your ass, guys. So this is a grudge match revenge game for Terrence Steele. Show me something, Terrence. Show me something, number 78, because number 7.
No more aluminum foil, please.
Yeah, no more of that shit. That has to stop now. And this is going to be a real hard test for him against a very tough Josh Sweat and other players, specifically Hassan Reddick, guys. If he can hold it down, again, we know the left side's fine. The right side, Zach Martin's fine, but he's got to help. If he's got to help Terrence Steele more, it's going to be broken a little bit more on the right side. So we got to make sure Terrence Steele does his job. If he does, Dak will shred the fucking secondary. You heard it from me, guaranteed. I'm telling you. If we can hold down, 78 can do his job, we win the game. We should win the game. Simple as that. Dak gets time. Dak shreds the secondary, and that should be the eventual game. But you got to make sure you block number 7. Hassan Reddick has been a star since he went from the Cardinals, joined the Eagles in a trade. And that is a problem for Terrence Steele and for the entire offense, but specifically Steele the entire night long. The last time these two teams met, like I said, Steele gave up 4 sacks. But if I'm not mistaken, 2 of them came from Reddick. The Eagles smell blood in the water when they see number 78, Terrence Steele, on the right side for the Cowboys offensive line. So we have to have a plan. I'm hoping Mike McCarthy has a plan to chip a little bit more with the tight ends or running backs. Number 7, and help Terrence Steele out a lot more. That's my hope. That is my hope, guys. If we don't, that could be a major issue they will have, and they will be able to kill us with if we allow it. Now, on offense, I do want to continue for a quick minute here. I'll jump back to reverse it around. But Jake Ferguson, another key, guys. We used him fantastic in the first half against the Eagles defense and then stopped using him in the second half. What the fuck? So keep an eye on Jake Ferguson this Week 14 matchup. He's not only become Dak Prescott's security blanket in the passing game, but he's caught 7 of 10 passes thrown his direction for 91 yards and a touchdown back in Week 9 against these Eagles. Now, the Eagles, they have a very suspect secondary in coverage. And they have a very suspect linebackers in coverage right now. Let's be real, they're hurt. They're banged up. Even if they play, they're not great. So their secondary, the corners and safeties, they're not going to be able to cover as well. They're going to have some holes. The linebackers are going to have some holes in coverage. You attack the secondary. You attack the linebackers with Jake Ferguson this game. And again, they're going to be focused on CeeDee Lamb. They're going to be watching CeeDee Lamb, trying to contain him, bracket him, and Jake Ferguson's going to be open all fucking night long. Do not stop going to Jake Ferguson, Dak, and McCarthy. Please keep that game plan going to Ferguson as an option all the time. it would not be surprising if Ferguson ends up being the Cowboys' leading receiver if the Eagles try to take out CeeDee Lamb completely from the game. So Jake Ferguson against the Eagles' secondary and linebackers, major key. The final key for tonight, and as we wrap it up, I'm going back to our defense, trying to stop this offense of the Eagles, and it's going to come down. I got to see an improvement, baby, from this guy right here, DaRon Bland. I don't mind if you don't get another fucking pick six, but I got to see him not allow so many yards against him. He did it 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, DK Metcalf, and he allowed it to fucking Terry McLaurin from the Commanders. I know he got a pick six, and he got a pick last week. Let's see him play a more complete game. He's going to have to do it against the Eagles receivers and Jalen Hurts. Despite being the league leader in interceptions with 8 for DaRon Bland, pick six record of all time in a season with 5, opposing teams are starting to blueprint picking on DaRon Bland in the passing game. So Dan Quinn got to come up with something to help DaRon Bland in this. The last 2 weeks alone with Seattle and Washington, they've had success throwing the ball his way. Like I said, back-to-back interceptions and great and all that, but there's no fear anymore that teams have when targeting DaRon Bland. So look for the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, to see if he can have similar success like these last 2 weeks have been hitting at DaRon Bland, using the talented receivers they have like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Number 26, DaRon Bland, he's fully aware of what's going to be happening this game, and I think Dan Quinn will be too. So will Al Harris. So will Joe Witt Jr. And I think he'll have a chance to increase that. It's DaRon Bland is going to be played a little different this week, a little more aggressive. I think he should maybe, again, he got burned by Devontae Smith. He's maybe too big of a matchup for A.J. Brown. So we'll have to see the way that Dan Quinn, tries to use him, and really how does he use him in the second half, because that's when the switch happens. So DaRon Bland against Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, their receiving core, huge matchup to look at and look forward to in this game that we should and definitely need to try to win. Will we do it? I don't know, but I do feel we have enough defensive firepower to keep these guys in check at the receiving side of things. It's really, DaRon Bland's going to get the help. Hopefully he can do the things he needs to do out there. But to me, it's more about making sure that the Cowboys get pressure, collapse the pocket on Jalen Hurts. That's why it's DaRon Bland, but it's really the pressure you get on Jalen Hurts. That's the key. And it's going to be hard because they got a damn good offensive line. And then they're going to keep beating up Micah Parsons all night long. So other guys got to step up. Osa, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dan Quinn in his packaging of this defense to really slow down Hurts and the receivers. Anyways, that's all I got to say, baby. Any comments from you? And I definitely want to hear some comments from the chat here as we close it down tonight on another one here on my Cowboys family.
Oh, no, I want to go ahead and just shout out everybody here chilling, hanging with us. Eric Black, Lost in Translation, Mike Aldana, Pioneer, Jason Renfro, Dallas Cowboy 92, Mary Alvarez, much love. We have, let me see who else is here. James Herr, Snug X, you know why he's here.
We know. He's in the house.
Aztec Aguilar 04. Amazing Games. Mike Aldana. Even you, Niner Gang. Trying to go back a little bit more here. Make sure I shouted out everybody here. But, Double R. Yeah, I think that's more or less everybody here. At least during this late night portion of the MCF stream. Again, can't say enough how much we appreciate you guys for chilling and hanging with us. Hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And baby, why don't you go ahead and give the shout outs to people who dropped the love today before we...
Membership-wise, we got Lincoln Kane and the Star. We got Bootzilla and the Navy Blue Crew. We also got the drops coming from Jason Renfro. He dropped it, sprinkled it in the Cash App along with Eastside. You got Mary Alvarez. You got JD from DC. Amazing Games. James Hurt to the PayPal. You got Stanley Smith with that Cash App dropping. He's the leader up there. Marco Sapien all night long. Much love to him. It's great discussions. And that Lunatic, who, by the way, really quickly, let's give another shout out to the Lunatic for what he's doing here for the channel, here for the family, whoever's in this raffle. Halftime of the Eagle game, Sunday night. 4 winners, 4 great prizes. $10 to get in, Once you hit $10, if you're in the membership, you get another entry if you're in any of the navy blue, silver, star, or over everything memberships. And you have unlimited raffle entries. So if you got 17 in, you throw 3 down more, you got another entry. You guys feel me? So you keep stacking them, unlimited entries. Much love to the Lunatic for making these 4 great prizes available. 4th place prize, boom, the car package, lanyard, car cover, car license plate covers, decals, fucking flags. I love it. Great stuff to rep that star over everything with your, on your car, on your vehicle, on your body. You could get 3rd place prize. It's the cap, autographed, Micah Parsons embroidered there, number 11, the Dallas Cowboy hat. And, of course, any name, any number on the back of the Dallas Cowboy shirt. A lot of different, I think almost every size, right? A lot of sizes. So much love to the Lunatic for having these 2. But then you got 1st and 2nd place prize. It's the Cowboy Mosh jerseys, guys. Yes, 1st place and 2nd place each get one of these great jerseys sewn and stitched. New and old players. You guys know the deal here. Oh, so many different styles and sizes. But it's those styles. The color rush, the throwback, the old school. You got a whole bunch of them, guys. A lot of great players. Old, like I said, old school, new school. You got the 70s guys, the 90s guys, the now guys, the Romos guys. If you wanted them, you got them all. So, again, repping that star for everything here. Much love to the Lunatic for making it happen. 1st and 2nd place prizes there. 3rd place, the hat and the shirt. 4th place, the car package. And, of course, brought to you by the Lunatic here through MCF, where it's going to be when we're choking out the Eagles, halftime of that game on Sunday night. We're going to have 4 winners. Can't wait to see who they are, who they will be, and what they pick, what they choose when it comes to those fantastic prizes. So, baby, now that we've shouted everyone out, got some comments and thoughts, and a nice 2-hour plus stream tonight, why do we do this thing here on My Cowboys Family on YouTube here every single day and night?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Yeah. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly here. We rep that star over everything. And, of course, on this little channel, My Cowboys Family, never forget the number one thing here now and forever, 6 years and beyond. As always, say it with us. Go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all again for rocking it with us here, dropping the knowledge, dropping the love from above, the whole experience here in MCF. Can't do this without your knowledge, your love. But, baby, as we clock out, drop out for the night, relock and reload for a Fan Friday tomorrow, getting ready for this huge game against the Eagles, what do we got to do before we drop on out of here?
We got to drop the beat.
The beat has been dropped. Thank you all again for ripping it up here. Eric Black, Mary Alvarez, Azteca Aguilar, Puro Bicho Cowboys, Snug X, you know why, JB2, Squirtin', the Orion Files, and on we go. Thank you all for being here with us, repping that star over everything here with the family, with us, MCF, MCW, breaking down another discussion, another Cowboys chat. It's a wrap. It's in the books. And I cannot wait for this game. The Eagles, they're trying to horse collar our guy. They're trying to hold Micah Parsons over there from getting to Jalen Hurts. We shall see. We're in our icy white color rush this week, and Mike McCarthy will be there calling the plays. How much on the field, we'll see. I don't know, but hopefully it's enough to make Dick Sirianni cry and toast, burn up, and roast those Eagles. I'm ready. You ready? Let's get this. Here at MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never, ever, ever forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house, even those haters. You know who you are, those green Eagle haters. Hit that like, hit subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and follow us on all social media, X and Twitter. Follow us there at My Cowboys Family, the Discord. Thank you all for another one tonight, another great show. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another one. Have a great night. Stay safe. Peace out. And never, ever, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.